Hi.
Hello, Mover. Welcome back.
That was beautiful timing.
Doug, welcome, dude.
Thank you.
Shanghai.
Hey. Hey, boys.
Hi.
Shanghai's the only one who actually knows what's going on.
Nobody knew. I don't know why you're even bringing that up, Gonky.
I didn't bring up what? It's like a well-oiled machine.
Good morning. Hello. Welcome to the show. It's got another exciting episode of flailing and catastrophe. Our special guest, Shanghai. Shihai. 2 bags full. Hello, Shanghai.
I love it.
Good morning.
He says good morning. Good morning.
Well, it is morning somewhere.
There you go.
Doug, you joined us.
Yeah, dude, I was sitting there on the couch thinking, oh man, it's going to be so much fun gaming with Mover at 7:30.
Well, if this doesn't go well, we might start at 7.
You just asked me in the pre-show. I said, "Do you know if Doug's going to be on?" I said, "I don't know."
He's waiting for Mover.
Dude.
It's a good thing Mover messaged me.
I messaged you because while I was rebooting my computer, I was Gonky's like, "Where's Doug? I can't do this without him."
Oh, I could do it. It'd just be ugly.
But here I am, like Airwolf, to save the day, like right at the last second.
Everybody showed up.
Yes.
Like Mover said, if we kept our mouths shut, nobody would have known.
A wizard always shows up exactly when he intends to.
Luna showed up. Like I saw Luna pop up. I was like, well, at least we'll have the dog.
He's like, I'm not missing my time. She's not even here. I don't know where she is. She'll be here at 9.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, do we want to do a show or are we just going to?
Yeah, no. Mover, what's up? What's been going on, man?
God. Let's work backwards. This computer is driving me up the wall. Like, I've tried everything. I've tried reinstalling Windows and got a bunch of blue screens of death for that. I've tried turning off like all the XMP, overclock, turbo boost, everything. I've tried reinstalling Chrome. I think what I'm going to have to do is switch from Intel to AMD. I think that's the next step, is to get a new motherboard and processor, because I think it's this 14900K. And it doesn't play well with all this stuff. I don't know. That probably somebody's going to message me and be like, here's how, look, stuff's still booting up. Like, holy crap, it's a 30-minute boot up screen.
Stop it, dude.
I can't stop it. It's still trying to go. So if I
become aware.
If I do that. So that's the one thing. And it's aggravating. I've spent today working on that. That's been my project for today. And what are we talking about? Airplanes? Cars, race cars. That's
right, everything.
I'm happy to announce Arca said no. So
okay.
Yeah, they said no. I got the call Friday, that they will not allow me to race in the Daytona race because they don't trust me. So
you did great. Test. I saw your episode where you were doing, test stuff, and you did awesome.
I am not a teenager with daddy's money. And I don't have Joe Gibbs Racing or any of those backing me. So they said, well, you need more circle track experience. I'm like, well, I was on Daytona with 140 other cars, but doesn't count. They want to see racing at circle track. So now I'm waiting to see if we can put together a deal to go like run maybe Pensacola, Rockingham, Charlotte, something non-Daytona next year. But as soon as that came out, I'm like, you know what? Because I was going to self-sponsor, right? I don't have the backing of anybody. And I was like, I'd gone back to the airlines, put away the cash. And I was like, maybe instead I'll just buy an airplane. So I started looking, of course, at my favorite, the Turbine Legend. And T-Bear said, don't buy a Turbine Legend because it's a turbine.
The turbine part.
The turbine part.
The turbine part.
I was stuck on the Legend part, but T-Bear's like, the turbine part is probably the one that's going to kill you. So I was like, well, what about a Lancer Legacy? And I've been looking at them, and I found one today. I sent it to Doug. It was super exciting because it was an Oshkosh winner and everything. And the guy calls me. He's like, hey, yeah, it's pretty cool cruising around at 200 knots. I'm like, 200 knots? The thing's a 240 knot airplane. And he goes, well, the air conditioner cuts off 35 to 40 knots because they put a scoop at the bottom.
Oh, wow.
For the end, so it creates all this drag. It won't go as fast. I'm like, but then I started thinking, I'm like, so the other ones don't have air conditioning, and they're like saunas. They're like a solarium,
Yeah,
with
right.
that. And so I don't know what's going to happen. But then my old buddy, Corvette World Rob, sends me a message and says, "Hey, we got this Z06. You want it?" And I was like, and then I told Gonky, I'm like, I'm going to trade in the 01.
Oh no.
Gonky
No, don't
said
do
no.
that.
Gonky said no. So
No. Stick shift.
No.
No, don't do that.
these
You
are
said
all
you'd
these
never
are
get
all
rid of that.
first world. Those are
That's
first world
right.
problems. I was going to add it next to it, but firstest of world problems. I'm flailing, dude. This is mover ruins. Mover. I finally have some peace in my life, and I'm like, you know what?
It's time to flip the table.
Well. So anyway, we already have the peanut gallery.
Oh yeah.
Well, look, dude, this is the exact setup I have. It just, I don't know what else it could be. Like I have
Look at that.
this exact setup. I got the 14900, the 64, and the 4090, and I'm always getting IRQL less than not equal to, or some other blue screen of death, and then it says a status access violation on Chrome, and it's not overclocked. It passes the mem test. It passes all that. It's all brand new. Give up.
So you need
Now-
to buy a Mac.
Look, he's saying my mic's cutting out. I'm like,
No,
"Oh,
your mic's good, man.
okay, don't add
Mic's good.
problems. I can't. It's brand new RAM. It passes the RAM test. It passes the mem test 86. It passes I've done all the nerd things that I can think of. There's nothing wrong with it. Yes, but it is a 14900K. Anyway, continue. Y'all talk about something else. It's not the power supply. It's brand new. Brand new power supply. Brand new.
Sounds like you need to take some of that vet money and fix the pewter. Dude, I don't know, man. Look, I use a MacBook Air and it seems to work reasonably well. And I don't know what any of those numbers mean.
Doug, what's happening, homie? Okay.
Doug, you've
I think,
muted yourself.
I think you guys are
Doug,
jinxing the whole computer thing.
Do you know the show starts? We're actually in the show right now.
It's live.
Doug,
Dude,
4 people watching.
he's probably his computer's.
Doug,
probably
are you
crashed.
playing games right now? All right, Doug. Well, sounds
Well,
good.
The viewer count's going.
Here we
There's
go.
Doug.
Doug's back.
We hope.
Oh my gosh,
Nope.
dude. This is
Nope.
like, dude, this is like doing a mission with 5th gen. Shanghai.
Oh wait, no. Hammy's like, you know what? I quit. He left. He's like, you know what? I'm not watching this. See you later. All the problems in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know, dude. Maybe Doug will come back. Let's hope.
I hope Doug comes back because he's a big part of the show.
I'll send him a
Otherwise, who's
message.
going to do your links? Because I'm too scared to click on anything.
I
If
got
I
the
click
links
on a
up.
link and try to share a link, this is gonna.
I got the
poorly.
links up, dude. It
Okay.
may take me a second.
Well, let's get the super chats while you work on that, because we actually have something. This is the Gonky RV fund, but it needs to be diverted to the Mover PC fund. Ethor says, "Greeting, gents. Have a good show tonight." Well, already know. Thanks. I love your optimism.
What are we doing?
Wicked Spider Black says, "Hi, Mover, Gonky, Doug, and Shanghai."
Thanks, Wicked.
And then Joe says, "We're in Bizarro world. Clean shaven Mover. Gonky has a beard. And Mover's the one with more PC internet problems." This is.
And Shanghai's just old.
Come on, Shanghai.
Yeah, had a birthday.
Yeah.
Shanghai had a birthday a few weeks ago, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
The new
I'm not
40.
gonna reveal the age. It started with a new number, which looks a lot like a 6. It's just I remember when
Yeah.
50 sounded old. Now 60 is just ancient. It's a new
Yeah.
40 though. I'm going with that.
That's right.
60 's
How about
a new
now?
40.
Hey,
Doug, you're back.
I don't mover. Whatever your computer has, apparently it's contagious.
Somebody's hacking.
You
That's why I said
killed
we're
my
gonna
mic,
jinx it.
right?
So we're getting some troubleshooting from the audience. I have updated the BIOS previously, did that. So that one's great. and I have absolute newest on. It's an MSI motherboard, and it's been absolutely updated, so that is not a problem. But yeah, I don't know. All right, so why don't we talk about topics?
All right. Now that we got the gang together.
It's also not overheating because the temperatures are all good. I checked them. So
Oh, that's
here you
funny.
go, Gonky. Talk about this.
Oh, dude. Okay, here. Hold on. Wait.
I want the trolls and the haters to come after you because today they came after me for the
Hold
other.
on.
Oh, we lost to Shanghai. Oh, no, we lost everybody. Okay. Hold on. I gotta put the overlay up.
There we go. Can you see it?
I just want to know what's with a gun.
All right, because Shanghai is the.
Well, Shanghai is our resident air-to-air kill SME.
Oh, you know what? I didn't update the thing. Hold on. I'm gonna do
What
that real
thing?
quick. The date. It's the wrong date on my overlay.
Oh,
So all this
All right.
thrash. We didn't fix that.
All right. All right. Well, here the story, the big news. Gonky wants Mover wants me to talk about it. Sent all hate to me. F-16 fighting Falcon from Ukraine has shot down Russian Su-34 fullback fighter bomber. Is the
Reportedly.
Exactly. So they've claimed that they've shot one down, but as of right now,
Well, no, Kremlin
Right,
mill bloggers
right,
have
right.
said so.
that's right. So it's not official, but like we were just said, pro-Kremlin male bloggers.
Say that
Though-
3 times fast. Pro-Kremlin mill bloggers.
Correct, though neither the Russian nor Ukrainian governments have officially commented. So this is what you need to know. F-16 supplied by Denmark has reportedly got its first air-to-air kill against the Su-34. So basically, I guess the Su-34 was dropping some dumb bombs, and the F-16 shot it down.
Was it dumb bombs or
That's
like
what I read. Yeah, that's what I
LGBs?
read earlier. Yeah, where's it at here?
Not the Ukrainian Air Force.
What was that? Shanghai? Never mind. Yeah. So I don't know. So they're going back and forth. That some people say that hey, actually it was friendly fire on the Russians' part. They shot down their own airplane. They're just not willing to say it. There's all kinds of speculation going on with what actually brought this down. So the Su-34 is, I don't know, it's not really a fighter. It's more of a bomber, right? You sit side by side in it. It does have air-to-air capability, but its primary role is it's basically a heavy strike fighter.
Like a Strike Eagle.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically the Russian Strike Eagle. So yeah, there's not a whole lot more here in the article about it, but the speculation continues. And like I said, neither government or side has officially come out and said anything. Mover, what is your take, sir? Are you afraid to say something?
Yeah, I'm afraid to talk.
Just do it, man.
Dude, I mean, it's like everything else, right? What's verified, what's not verified. These things come out, and yeah, a pro-Kremlin blogger has said that this happened, but I would think that they would be talking about it based on the fact that the F-16 is, they've already had the F-16 mishap, in which day one of the war, they unfortunately lost somebody. I would think this would be one of those things that they'd be jumping up and down on social media going, because that's what they do. They do that. As soon as something good happens, they start trash talking both sides. But the Ukrainian Air Force, they'll make a video and all this stuff. So the fact that they haven't even, that kind of lends to some questionable nature of it. The other piece is, if it's true, it's not that unrealistic because, I mean, it's a Su-34 versus a Viper. I mean, Fox 3, see you later. What else is there to talk about? Shanghai?
As long as it wasn't with a gun, I'm good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, dude. The bottom line is F-16 is obviously easily capable of shooting down a Su-34, and then vice versa. I mean, if the F-16 is the wrong piece of sky, right? I mean, these are real warplanes we're talking about. So, you know, I think you're onto something as far as like there would be a lot of propaganda potential here, and it's not being, you know, we're not hearing it. So, but I mean, that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
It just means we don't know. You know, there's an article by the National Interest doesn't exactly make it, you know, factual.
Yeah.
But then again, almost nothing is. You know, I posted a video today about allegedly the Su-57 shooting down its own S-70, and there's video of something shooting down something, and then there's wreckage of the S-70 on the ground. So you don't know. Some people are like, it's a Su-35, it's the Su-57 or whatever. But if you go read my comments section, when the Russian trolls, or even because Ukrainian has trolls too, hate to say it, but both sides have trolls that are on there, and their whole job is just to spam comments. And you'll see like all these things like the Su-57's got 100 kills already, and the Su-57's already done this, and they act like this thing's the best fighter ever. And then the other side's going, well, the Su-57 hasn't done anything at all. And you're like, okay, well, where's the truth? What is the criteria for an unbiased, factual approach to what this is? And we're not going to get that. We're not going to get that in the fog of war. You know, that what you get in these times aren't historical takes. You get propaganda and, you know, stuff that is used to motivate both sides.
Yeah. You know, this is aviation channel primarily, but you know, this thing is a World War I ground war. It's just trench warfare by the inches, and it's just brutal. It's, you know, it's fun to speculate about high-tech aircraft and missile systems, but that's not where this war is. It's just a brutal slog. And
exactly, Shanghai. And I always go back to like, I just kind of wish they'd stop fighting.
Exactly. It needs to end for sure. It's just trading bodies and kids and prisoners and everything else. It's just brutality at a level that we haven't seen since maybe forever. So
yeah, that's a hot take, Gonky.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to want peace. You're supposed to want problems.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as somebody who's been a part of war, I think I've earned the right to
read the comment section. You have not, sir.
I don't care about the comment section. Trolls can be trolls. You guys, they can troll me all day long. I don't read them because I'm off the grid. I'm busy doing stuff.
Well, I certainly have, and you know, in my war, we purposely did not target the troops split trenches and those kind of things, but I was up on the battlefield the day after the ceasefire in Kuwait, and we saw carnage at a level that was shocking, disturbing, but it's nothing compared to what's going on in those front lines between Ukraine and Russia right now. So
yeah, awesome.
It's just a tragedy at a level that's unconscionable, really.
Yep.
Let the haters hate. That's the way it is.
Oh, here we go. Here's the reasoning why you're getting canceled, Gonky. Saying you want them to stop fighting sort of implies you're okay with Russia keeping the land they stole.
No, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't. No. Have a beer and talk about the land. Stop fighting.
Yeah. I'm not okay with it, but if that's the path to peace for the near term, they ought to consider it. Frankly,
exactly.
My opinion only.
Yep, me too.
All right. Well, good talk.
Solve that problem.
Hate mail to Gonky at.
That's it, dude. Trust me, it's right there.
GonkyReadyRoom@gmail.com. Oh no, wrong one. Ghetto Streamlab says I fixed your computer, Mike Tyson. We've made it 21 minutes so far.
Good show.
Erkman 12.
Nice. Bugs Bunny.
Speaking of Vipers, there's a decent chance I've seen the F-16 in that intercept video when I drove past Eielson a few months ago. Very nice. Okay. Very nice. Able Dog says, Shanghai, saw your air-to-air kill bird recently from Moody on its way to a place. Still fighting. Want pics?
Yeah, For sure. You can send them to my YouTube channel right there, 2 Bags Full Shanghai. I'd love pics. I've had a few people send me some pics of good old 964.
Nice.
And she looks beautiful. She looks beautiful with that green star on her left.
You still have your painting?
I do.
You should put it as your background. I mean, not that the American flag is bad, but that'd be cool.
No, I should. I probably should. It's a good idea.
Yeah, be a cool tribute there. And Davey has a question. Heard you guys suggest going guard over active for Air Force pilot slots. Is there a way to become a naval aviator other than active duty? No.
No.
The reserves do not hire off the street. They don't have the capacity to do it. I get that question a lot.
They don't hire pilots off the street in the reserves. Other jobs, they do.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So they don't have the ability to send someone to pilot training in a pipeline program.
Right.
And that's valid because they don't really have, like, guard reserve is almost a mini mirror image of the active duty, right? So you got an active duty squadron, you've got a F-16 squadron, and they can plug and play. Like, they can take those dudes, so to speak, put them in the squadron, TFI, all that stuff, total force integration. In the Navy, there aren't a whole lot of situations like that. Even the strategic reserve squadrons are like BFA 204. We were red air, and we kind of did some blue air on the side.
Yep.
Now they're VFC.
Yeah.
Or VC, whatever they are now.
VFC.
Are they VFC? And they don't do any blue air. So you can't take those dudes and send them to a boat. They got so far away from that model that it's not feasible to send, because you'd never be good enough. You know,
they used back in the day, they had an entire reserve air wing.
Yeah.
When they had more, planes and squadrons and carriers, but that has slowly disappeared.
Yeah. You don't have that need, and you don't have that infrastructure. Navy Reserve is not a mini version of the big Navy like Air Force Reserve or Air National Guard would be. So, all right, moving on. Aaron says, Elon Musk, love him or hate him, has said that missile tech has exceeded aircraft capabilities and predicted World War I trench warfare in our future wars. I agree. I pray we avoid World War III. Drones in trenches.
Yeah, dude. It's ugly. That's really ugly.
It's crazy.
We're going to have Casmo on next week. And one of the things I wanted to talk to him about, speaking of drones and trenches, is they're starting to adapt the Apache for anti-drone warfare.
Really?
Yeah. I saw an article about it the other day. I wanted to talk to him about it. So, like, that's the future, man. You know, it's drone swarms and drones and missile tech. You know, it's the day of the, knife in your teeth, fighting in the phone booth. Not like it used to be.
This is old man. This is how old people talk.
It's hate to tell you there, Graybeard, but
I know, man. I know. Makes me sad.
All right, our next topic of discussion is happier. Malaysia is getting Kuwaiti Hornets.
Oh, dude, let's see. You think I'd have these like queued up, man?
Doug does. No, that's an A10.
Here we go. I got it.
Doug
Why
does.
not?
Yeah, I don't know what the A10 was doing. I think we're just watching Doug's browser history. Why do I keep losing Shanghai when I do this?
I was looking for tail number 964.
Okay.
Thanks, Doug. Yeah. 810964.
Was that the tail number?
Yeah, 810964.
That's awesome, dude. Okay, so Malaysia's been looking for a replacement for the MiG-29 for a while. When I was there, they operated 3 frontline fighters: MiG-29, Su-30, and the Hornet. I know for a long time Boeing was trying to get them to buy Super Hornets, which I think they should have done. I think it's been a mistake for them to wait so long, but it sounds like they're pretty latched onto this deal with Kuwait. So Kuwait bought like 28 Block 3 Super Hornets, and then I think also like 28 of the higher lot, whatever, Typhoons to replace their legacy Hornets. So Kuwait bought legacy Hornets after the first Gulf War, all they had back then were like A4s, I believe, and
A4s, yeah.
they didn't fare well against the Iraqi Air Force when they got invaded. So after the war, they put in a big order. I think it was like 70 or so of these Hornets, and because of the Kuwaitis, we in the U.S. got the EP engine because in the high heat of the desert, the Kuwaitis wanted better thruster weight. So thank you, Kuwait, for the EP engine. Much nicer. But the article just talks about Malaysia visiting Kuwait and trying to solidify this deal. They're kind of waiting on the American government as far as allowing it to happen. So hold on, stop sharing this, man. You know, as far as this is a good move for the Malaysians, I haven't read anywhere where exactly how many of the Kuwaiti Hornets they're going to buy, but there is a benefit in numbers. When I was there, because they only had 8 jets, you know, they didn't have as many parts supply, right? So a lot of times we run up against supply issues. So if you have a larger fleet, I think you're gonna have a larger inventory of just parts and even airplanes you can scavenge from, because we had 1 or 2 that were basically parts birds when you only have 8. That's not that's not good. But the Kuwaiti jets are relatively modern. I mean, they're very comparable to what the Malaysians have. So I think it would be a good fit for them. In my mind, they should buy them all because I think the country could use it. It's just too bad they didn't buy the Super Hornet, because I think in the long run it will be cheaper because they would have the latest and greatest right now instead of playing the upgrade game. And then also they would be 0-time airframes. Although the Kuwaiti Hornets are some of the lower time airframes, and they have been maintained their entire life by civilian contract maintenance, which is good. So they're good airplanes. They're great airplanes. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We've got any thoughts on other countries buying Hornets?
Small countries.
No, dude.
You only had 8
in
the whole country?
Yeah, it's funny. When I was interviewing for the job, I should have known this, right? When I'm interviewing for the job,
you show up unprepared for something. No,
correct. Yeah, I was like, "Hey, so am I going to be like at the RAG or am I going to be at the operational side?" They're like, "Oh, it's one and the same, dude. You got 8 airplanes." I'm like,
they teach each other. Yeah,
right.
It's your first sortie, mine too. Figure it out. Well, inshallah.
Who's leading?
Well, so interesting point I just thought about is they had 4 of the 8 were T-birds that had stick in the back. The other 4 were completely Wizzo missionized. So the Kuwaitis only have, the majority of their jets are single seat. So they'll have to move right. So they'll have to move away from the 2-seat mentality. Although Shanghai, I'm a single seat guy too. But I will say, man, the way that they operate that airplane, like at night in the rain in the jungle and stuff with fog down low, they do low level at night on MVGs. A 2-seat version is not a bad thing all the time. I'll say that.
Yeah, and for the AFAC for the AFAC mission, FAC, I guess to call it now, it's a benefit as well. I think the Navy certainly thinks so. But I got a cool story though. So they've come a long way in 30 years. So when I was flying, I guess I got to start a story with no shit. There I was in a kill box right in Kuwait during combat, and I'm literally rolling in to drop some CBU, and here comes a 4-ship of Kuwaiti A4s in relatively close formation, just scooting right below me. Not talking to anybody. This is their country, So they didn't have very many of them, but they had those little scooters, and I guess the coalition was like, well, it's their country. We got to let them fly, right? So there they go. Just scoot through the kill box. And there they go. Hey, maybe I'll come dry this time.
Were they on the attack run too, or were they just transiting?
They were headed up towards Kuwait City. I don't know what they're doing. Nobody did. They weren't on the frag. They were just
on a joyride, just seeing what was going on. Hey boys,
check out their real estate or something. I don't know, but yeah, there they go right below me.
Get some currency.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're of course, that you guys realize if I'm rolling in for a CBU delivery, they're not only below me, not talking to anybody in the kill boxes, but they are at an altitude that is just stupid, right? I mean, they're really the heart of all the AAA right there. There's just, and then they go, and they're in like this, they're like the little kid, like a diamond formation, like in maybe like fighting wings sort of like spread, and they're just, they just go, just scooting across up towards Kuwait City. Oh, there they go. A4.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Gonky, did you ever stop to think that maybe that's why no one else applied? Because they only they're like,
No,
yeah,
no.
that's why I got the job, Gonky.
No, a couple people applied. I was actually like, no kidding. I was actually their second choice. I wasn't the first mover. I was the second choice. Yeah, and what's funny is my boss, Sandy, later told me, he's like, yeah, the first guy, he's like, we offered him the job, but he wanted all these stock options and whatever. I never even asked what the pay was. I was like, dude,
Jets,
I want to go to Penang. I want to fly fighters. I want to fight those MiGs and flankers. Like, I'm in. It's like, well, you want to hear about the pay? I'm in.
Did you not hear me? I pay you. Next.
Right. Exactly. And
How
You
much
might have
do I
been number
pay?
2 in their program, but you were number 1 in their hearts by the time you left.
That's
I'm
right.
sure.
That's probably like, we've got a real winner here.
Well, it's. I mean, so 8 sounds a lot like Strike Fatron 204.
Yeah.
On a good day,
Dude,
we had 8.
it was
Usually,
fr-
we had 1 or 2.
Yeah. I mean, if they get a bunch of these legacy jets, I mean, a lot of the parts are interchangeable. I mean, it'll be good for the RMAF because, a lot of their struggles are just kind of, I looked at it as almost simple logistics stuff, but like when you have only a small amount of airplanes, it doesn't make sense to have a giant warehouse just full of stuff, right? So, I hope they do get the airplanes, and it'll definitely boost their capability. I mean, those are good jets. They're low time. The Malaysian jets are low time. So, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully the U.S. approves it, and it's
They're
expedited.
what? Then they're making room for what?
Who's making room? The Kuwaitis? Block 3 Super Hornets? What?
Could have been me.
Could have been
standing
me
there with you.
Yeah, no, dude.
Uh-huh.
It's okay. It's okay,
thing.
man.
Good thing life is a highway, huh?
Life. Thought it was a box of chocolates.
Early segue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought it was a box of chocolates, bro.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just here for you. I'm just here until this thing quits on me again.
Yeah.
Until I get another status access violation.
Yeah.
Alex says, I got to do my first sit-down pilot interview. He was 75 years old.
Wow.
Pilot experience as a hijack survivor, even was shot.
Wow.
Wow.
Alec is a cool dude.
He
That
is.
dude,
Cool
that
man.
dude is going to do some great things.
That's right,
Yeah.
man. That's awesome, Alec.
That's a
That'd be,
lot of
he'd
stuff
put him up.
happening
He's
here.
probably Vietnam. He probably interviewed a Vietnam era guy, being 75.
Do you know Killer Chick? Shanghai.
I do. I don't know her personally, but I did reach out to her and apologize for my previous stance on women in fighters, because she is awesome. Awesome pilot, awesome leader.
Yeah,
Just a great individual.
You don't ask somebody famous if they know somebody else famous. You wouldn't go up to like Ariana Grande and be like, "Hey, I love you. Do you know Taylor Swift?" You don't do that. Shanghai is Shanghai.
Thanks, Mover. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
True, valid, 100%.
Poor form.
She's cool. I will take another personal note here too. So, on the flight that she's most famous for, the one where she got all shot up. So, okay, I'm famous for shooting down somebody. She's famous for getting all shot up, but still, she's famous.
It's like a NASCAR driver. I'm famous for winning. She's famous for wrecking, but whatever. Same thing, but different. Same.
First, you're last. Right. So, but she was the commander of my last squadron, the 75th Fighter Squadron, the Tiger Sharks of the 23rd Wing, the Flying Tigers. So it was cool. But she was flying with her squadron commander on that mission where she got all shot up in Iraq, and that was one of my mentors, one of my great friends in the E10, Rick Bino Turner, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year of a very difficult disease. So shout out to Elizabeth and the girls. Difficult time. Bino was a superhero and a tremendous A10 guy and one of my mentors, and rest in peace, Bino. Yep.
That sucks. Yeah, nickel.
Yeah.
Laura says Gonky knows Mike Tyson.
That's
No.
Like Mike Tyson knows Gonky.
Have you ever seen them in the same room at the same time?
I know, because Gonky doesn't smoke marijuana and Tyson is always baked.
Is he baked?
Oh my gosh. He's got a podcast where he does with somebody and he's just smoking a blunt the whole time and getting stupider and stupider. It's just sorry, Mike.
He has a podcast? I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Oh yeah.
My quote's in there somewhere. I'm
real quick, Gonky, say that.
I dare Gonky. Slovenia is a small country. Okay, I just said it.
You said it. There you go.
Hey, speaking of things, we would like to wish Newsweek Unconventional a happy 1-year anniversary, and we hope that they have another several years of successful content and awesome stories. We've appreciated everything they've done. It's been an awesome time watching them, and we're looking forward to more.
Yeah, they did that sweet video for us. If you haven't seen it, it's cool. I mean, that's awesome, man. Keep doing what you're
I have
doing.
not seen it.
Yeah, they did our Finny Flight video,
Yeah.
which was
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that. That is awesome. Yeah.
Well, they didn't. They helped us get it published again.
Yep.
Okay.
Although Gonky's has been published forever.
Well, that was kind of published under the
Any
Mover is
issues
a
whatsoever.
hero of the world kind of thing, wasn't it? Wasn't that part of your
No, that's not the Pentagon
Force
thing.
Reserve super cool guy tour?
Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. Base Camp Bernie says, update your BIOS. I did. No, I did, and it didn't. So it's just we're beyond help.
I love it, man.
John says, congrats, Newsweek. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Is he selling turbulence? You don't want a racing one. I asked T-Bear. I saw a racing legacy, and T-Bear's like, you want to stay away from that because the engine's probably going to have problems. It's been racing. You don't want a racing engine in your airplane.
I haven't heard from T-Bear. How's he doing? Still,
he's great. He just
crop?
finished his crop. No, he just finished. Well, the season's over, so he's back in Texas, and he has so many jobs. That man, I'm like, T-Bear, you're retired. He's like, well, I got more jobs than I used to. I'm like, you got to retire, dude.
Is he still flying the BizJet?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. Flying the BizJet, flying he's instructing.
Really?
It's like, yeah, dude, he's doing everything, man. I'm happy for him.
Wishing he was back in a Warthog.
Yeah. I wish I could have flown the Warthog. That aircraft was so elusive to me.
Yeah.
I tried so hard and got so far.
Great.
Yeah. All right. Back to the topics. Speaking of Fat Amy, Gonky,
you're a fighter versus F-35. Yeah. It. I don't know if you want to watch the whole video, but
were you able to acquire it?
Yeah.
The business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Share screen here, dude. Hold on. It's actually kind of cool. I'm basically jealous of
oh, wrong one.
What happened.
Also wrong one. Where did it go?
Dude, fast hands in the cockpit. Let's see, share.
I was clicking on it and it disappeared, and then I got Luna's bed instead.
Share. Here we go. All right. Boom. There we go. Ah!
All right. What do we have here? The Fat Amy guy's got to be the one on the right.
Yeah. So it's actually
1,000%. It's the one on the. I haven't seen this video, but 1,000% it's the dude on the right, without a doubt.
Yeah. So it's first of all, I'm jealous of these two because they got
that has Panther Pilot written all over it.
It really does. So I don't know. Should I play it?
Oh yeah, dude. Let's do it. Why not?
All right.
What's the secret to a good
hear
paper airplane?
Don't have me make it.
Get it?
How about that?
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Viper. What's that?
Ooh, no, see, look at that. Offsided wings already. It's terrible. Symmetry would be the correct answer.
You need some elevators here in the back. It's
I'm First Lieutenant Alexander Grant. I go by Stitch, and I fly the Eurofighter Typhoon for the mighty Richthofen wing in Germany.
Yeah, I'm Captain Patrick Pierce. Call sign is Hobbit. I fly F-35s out of RAF Lakenheath for this competition today.
Yeah.
The way it was worked out is we were given a slip of paper. We had a location in which we're going to meet up at a certain altitude. We would not know who we're fighting until we turned in and at the merge. So as our aircraft passed by each other, I'm like, oh boy, there's a Eurofighter, which is actually like pretty cool.
I've never seen an F-35 so close. When we train in Germany, I only fight other Eurofighters, and you don't really understand what your advantage is. And today, with the Eurofighter having a little bit more thrust than the F-35, for example, I could definitely understand what the advantage of my aircraft is. And we were ever facing each other. He would probably kill me beyond visual range, even before I even knew he was there, because of his stealth capability. I don't have that.
So what it looked like today was a lot of one of these maneuvers.
Oh my God!
In which Stitch here was saddled up behind me. He was able to get a gun deployment.
You can actually see the gun rounds counting down when I employ the gun.
That's not a Fat Amy or Eurofighter.
No. You can just feel it in like the pit of your stomach. You're like, man, this guy just won the fight, and it hasn't even ended yet for another like minute or so. So the entire goal is like, if you're defensive, is to survive and then create an offensive scenario as much as possible. The best way to do that is put them out front, which now you're no longer defensive and you're the offensive.
Where's the video?
He will probably be able to tell that I'm going in for guns by pointing my aircraft at him. And if I don't have my closure under control, I'm way too fast.
Range angles and closure.
Just break, and then I'm like,
rack him up.
And now I'm shooting behind his tail, and now I'm defensive.
You're underneath a lot of G's, if you will. You're going through some pretty extreme flight dynamics. If you're 200 pounds, that equals, 1,800 pounds of like what your body feels like at that time. You're looking behind, you're looking up, you're looking
That's a Hornet.
and you're underneath that
200-pound Hobbit.
Puts some pretty big physical strain on your body.
I would say I turn my head up to 7 Gs. After that, I don't do anymore.
Don't turn your head. You're going to have neck problems like me. That's not a Fat Amy either. That's a world's greatest fighter right there. Not that one. It switched on me. It switched on me.
Ready?
Here we go.
Right, 1, 2.
Perfect. All right, hold on, dude. Stop sharing.
So who won? I mean,
all right. So I thought that was a pretty cool video, mainly because it's awesome to just get a waypoint, go out and fight what you see. I'm jealous of the Typhoon, getting to fight the Typhoon. Jealous of getting to fight the Fat Amy too. But I don't know, Mover. What'd you think of that video? So I mean, you know who won, right? I mean, the Typhoon gun, the F-35.
in our austere environment, I would have expected nothing less than a video of two dudes talking with paper airplanes. That's such a great analogy or metaphor for today's just everything, that it makes perfect sense that we have two dudes in a room in wooden chairs talking with paper airplanes. They can't even afford sticks that look like they're airplanes. We can't afford PCDS to show what the airplanes did and make like a little mini like animation. We couldn't put a GoPro in it because heaven forbid. But we got two dudes with paper airplanes.
I think that's for fun, though. I think they're just like, you know, neither of these guys are going to weapon school. I mean, let's be honest. Like that, like they're like,
dude, I don't know, dude. The fact that he got like, and he probably did better than most Fat Amy pilots against the Eurofighter. So that's I mean, because that thing is gonna get slaughtered. So
I always think when he's like, well, if it was BVR, you would have probably killed me. That's such a
cop out.
That's such an easy. It's like, bro, I just throttled you, but it's okay, good buddy.
You cheated, Mom.
You would have done okay.
He's not playing by the right rules,
right, dude?
What he didn't say is, I've never seen an F-35 so close. He was at about 1,000 rating my pipper.
Exactly.
Captain is 6. Those shit there was Captain 6. I want to know what. First of all, a 200-pound Hobbit is out of control. Second of all, what's with the brown boots? Third of all,
that's
they used to wear cool scarves and like keys to their F-35 or like a lanyard tucked into their thing. mean, come on, and the mustache.
The keys
I mean,
to the after.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Robin Hood's mustache.
he
all
flew with
out.
the keys. He flew with the keys to the rental car, $20.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Mainly, I'm jealous, Mover. I'm poking some fun at them because I'm jealous. I would trade places for the day in a heartbeat.
With the Typhoon. Typhoon is a monster.
Yeah, Typhoon would be awesome.
Such a cool jet.
It just had to be.
I'm just a little sad because you got 2 fighter pilots, and the Luftwaffe dude looks like 10 times cooler telling this story.
Yeah, the Hobbit did not
that
go to
Amy
Injep.
guy.
Yeah, Hobbit did not go to Injep, but the German definitely did. Obviously.
Well, dude, the German guy won. I mean, he probably led back into the break. I mean, it's like, of course, his chest is going to be out a little more. It's like, well, the whole day
he was unusually humble for a German as well.
They probably had to coach him. They're like, okay, now don't throw the paper airplane in his eye. You know,
Right.
don't throw it at him.
His paper airplane looked like a cool airplane. The other guys looked like looked like a boat.
Yeah, he kind of made a fatty version of a paper airplane. I
He
noticed
did,
that.
yeah.
And the Typhoon guy actually had like the high speed, low drag version.
Exactly.
Yeah. Obesity in America stretches to all walks of life, including our airplanes, both paper and real.
And our 200-pound hobbits.
Listen,
Yep.
Hobbit, if you're watching, which is about 6.9% chance you are, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Hobbit,
make fun
I'm
of you.
jealous. I'm jealous of you, man.
Jealous.
I am.
I'm jealous.
I'm jealous.
I'm jealous. What I wouldn't give to be a captain
Yes.
again, doing dissimilar BFM against losing or winning, it would be awesome, although I didn't lose. But if I did lose, it would be awesome to be in a 5th gen fighter.
Just fighting. Yeah, exactly.
I
I agree, dude. I know.
That hurt a lot to say.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Great talk.
I'm emotionally. I'm beat down now, man.
Are you?
I'm still going to take my golden age of fighter aviation.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I go fight a thing too against whatever.
Yeah. Did you ever do dissimilar in the E10 BFM? Did you ever?
Yeah, there's a great video. There's a great video online of me spanking an F-16. This was a cool story.
So I should have talked to that. No. Mute him. Mute him right now.
Go ahead.
Him.
Go ahead.
You'll understand though. So I'm in Denmark, right? Flying A-10s that we deployed from England, and somebody thought, I'm sure it was one of the Danish guys, hey, so this Shanghai guy and our guy Mortson, they both went to Injep. We were in the same class at Injep, right? And so we both had about 500 hours in the jet. And so they thought, let's send them 1v1, right? We'll see. So you can't circle the hogs 1v1, right? But now I'm sure if we had the second engagement, it would have turned out different. And this is not me being the German from moments ago, but he just kept plugging it in a burner, and he'd just come down, and he'd go back up, and he'd come down. And I think I waxed him 7 times. You have to check the video. I think it's 7. And at one point, I'm just saying, if he stays in burner, I can do this all day long, because I just kept, and then he'd come across, and he ended up overshooting, and I just tracking. It was all. And our ROE was guns and rear aspect heaters behind the 3.9 line, obviously rear aspect, and so. But so it was all contrived, obviously, and it was contrived to make me the pup that got spanked, but it turned the other way around.
Yeah, but he's done dissimilar against the helicopter too.
A 30 millimeter is like a mini AIM-9.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, true. Dude, that thing, you got like a 5-mile range. I mean, you're gunning the guy. I mean, you don't really, it's different. We got to get in close because 20 millimeter tumbles, but you can
just
shoot
like my real. Yeah, just like my real air-to-air kill is thank you. Threw that in. Just slip that in there. It was before the days of the low altitude safety and target enhancement LASTI mod. So we had no air-to-air, lead computing gun sight. We had no funnel or any of that stuff. It was just a dial the mills and pipper. But there's a couple of great shots of him. of him going right through the pipper. I mean, just classic. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
I love it.
But yeah, we did. But so, like you said, Mover, I mean, you circle the hogs, and anybody who's not fought hogs doesn't realize that you stick your nose down there anywhere, and somebody's going to crank their nose up and sling some 30 millimeter about 70 a second at you, and it's a big projectile going really fast. So
yep,
you guys, you don't want to stick your nose in there. So, and we can turn, so the thing can turn so quickly. We carried, 960 chaff and flares. So,
Shanghai was your, like, when you're doing your air-to-air tactics, was the winder the primary weapon, or was the gun with formation?
The gun primarily, because
Really?
just because anybody else is so fast, they're getting away. They're going to come in some slashing attack and get away, get up. You crank your nose up and hose some 30 millimeter at them. But and when I shot the helicopter down, I did cool down the AIM-9s, but the desert floor was actually hotter than the exhaust of that Mi-8. So
wow.
I just couldn't get it. It kind of get the and I just couldn't. It just bounced off. I just couldn't get it to lock on. So switching the guns.
Nice.
So,
yep.
Love it.
Thank you for that. Base Camp Bernie, we're still talking about my computer. But then what do I do with it while it's gone? I would be computerless for however long it takes. That would be bad.
You have like 2 or 3 computers, don't you?
No, I do not. I have the one. I have an iPad.
Really?
Yeah. I don't have multiple. Sir.
You did.
All right, let's move on to the thing we're going to talk about next, which is the hippies. Do we have that, Douglas?
I think I have it. I was doing road ops next. Hang on.
The hippies protesting obese Amelia. So Burlington is blessed with the 5th gen, and now the hippies are protesting because it makes too much noise. And the lawmakers are now joining in because of noise pollution, and the rumbling of the jets is hard to ignore. They fly all times of the day, even though they don't. And the town hall meeting, basically they said, yep, we don't want all these jobs in our area. We don't like the sound of freedom, and we don't want them to fly anymore. And then now, granted, Gonky has this exact sign, but for different reasons.
Oh goodness.
He's got the stuff TF30. And that's the whole thing. We go back down. What does it say? They want to extend it to 25 years. But they want different missions. So what I say is send it down south. And
like Louisiana south?
Mississippi.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I think if Airwolf can do hurricane hunting, Fat Amy can too. I bet you could fit a motorcycle in the Bombay doors. Too soon.
Yeah, that 35 ops canceled.
Yeah, too soon. Gonky, what do you think?
Dude, you gotta love the sound of freedom, man. Come on.
I get it. I get it. I mean, I've tried to sleep at like Oceana during FCLP ops at night. It's loud and obnoxious.
How long? Like, who's there first, the houses or the base? It's always one of those things. I don't know.
Fat Amy's noisy.
She is noisy. I don't like Fat Amy, especially the noisy one. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like, if you're gonna, I'm like you.
The A10.
Yeah, it's quiet.
It whines.
Yeah, but it's quiet, dude.
Shanghai, go with your data.
It doesn't really whine. It whines.
But
I'll tell you what, Burlington's
like a 737.
It is a high bypass ratio turbofan. That's right. Yeah. In fact, sometimes I'll hear a commercial airliner going over. Is that?
Am I about to get strafed? What is this?
Yeah.
If you hear the bird,
Burlington has
you're
bigger
still alive.
problems. I just today watched a video. Peter Santinello, the YouTuber that does just sort of on the ground, like what's really going on in American cities. Well, all over the world actually, but he's been focused on America. He was in Burlington as most recent, and they have a huge homeless problem, huge drug problem. It's like an open air drug market. The people don't want to go downtown in Burlington. That's why they talk about South Burlington in that clip there. But you know what? I go with the Sound of Freedom every time. It's better than the alternative, kids.
Yeah.
I wonder if they do like we do in the airline world. Do you guys do NADP 1 and 2, Gonky?
No.
Okay. There's a
Should
word.
we?
So we have these noise abatement departure procedures.
Oh yeah, we do those. Yeah.
Right. So you do a takeoff, right? It's derated because you want to save the engine. But then you do your whatever that rating is, and then as it gets to certain altitudes, it starts pulling the motor back to make less noise. And that altitude can vary, can be like 800 feet, it could be 1,000 feet, it could be whatever. And it's the whole point is noise. But Europe is the worst about that. In fact, Europe is so bad. I've learned this in the international, flying wide body. There are places like when I went to Barcelona, you take off and it's like a fighter turn, dude. It's like you take off, gear in the well, you're turning left to go over the water to get away from civilization. In fact, if you request a certain runway, they'll find you. It's like I was reading the note on that going, well, why not just say no? Why?
Right.
They're like, we'll give it to you, but here's the fine. If you go into London Heathrow, their noise abatement, the fines and stuff are the same thing where taking off, they have noise abatement procedures, but coming in. So they'll put you, when you arrive, they put you in the holding stack, and then they have this constant descent profile. And if you're not within a couple 100 feet a minute of, the constant descent, because you're not leveling off and powering up the engines, they just want this constant to the end of the runway, just about, or to your final approach fix. And they'll fine you for that. Like they'll look at the data and go, oh, look, he was only at, 50 feet a minute here and held it for, greater than 2 minutes. He leveled off. We're going to fine the company. So they're very sensitive about noise abatement because of the encroachment of civilization around their area. And it's happening around fighter bases. Luke probably gets the same thing. So I'm wondering if they have it, or they have any noise abatement in the F-35, or if they're just doing like we did in the Viper. We're on burner if it's two bag, and we're mill power if it's clean, and we don't care what happens in between.
Well, remember at 204 when we were doing the Miramar debt, there was noise abatement that we had to.
It was a turn.
Right.
It was the La Jolla thing.
Right.
It was La Jolla.
Right.
Yeah. You know how I know that? Because I ended up in the base commander's office with a certain member of the squadron, not Gonky, for once.
No.
But
I knew.
Shanghai, I've ever told you this story?
No, I've not heard this.
I think I've probably. So Top Gun, like it could not get more Top Gun than this, because we're at Miramar. I'm the det officer in charge for a missile shoot at Miramar, which it was my last thing I was doing at VFA 204 before they kicked me out for the kids.
Which is a Wednesday night club, by the way.
Not anymore.
So
anyway, one of our fearless fighter pilots, you're supposed to take off and turn hard right and avoid La Jolla. Is it left or right?
Left.
It's a direction.
Yeah.
He just goes straight and doesn't understand why he's got such a cutoff with the rest of his formation, because they turn.
Yeah.
And now, why are we lined abreast all of a sudden?
Right. Overshooting.
Yeah. So he keeps going. Well, the chief shows up in the ready room and says, the base commander, the base skipper would like a word. And I'm like, everybody in the whole ready room turns and looks at me. And they're like, Mover, you have to answer for this. And I'm
You're
like,
the man.
Okay, what happened? And they're like, well, one of your pilots violated the noise abatement and, flew right over all these houses. And I'm like, oh, crap. He's like, yeah, the base, wasn't the skipper, it was the XO, because the skipper wasn't there. He's like, the XO would like to see you both in the office. And no kidding, I had to go find him, grab him. It's like, dude, what'd you do? He's like, yeah, I screwed it up. I'm like, you sure did. We drove over there, and it's like literally I want some butts. I've had it. You know, one of your snot nose jockeys did a flyby at over 400 knots. And we were in there and standing and tall in front of the man as he explained to us why we were both idiots. And I wasn't even flying. I was just there. You know, I was just in charge of the thing.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I was like in the Kayla getting armed up or something, but I watched him go and I'm watching him and it just dawned on me like, oh, I'm like, oh, we're probably going to hear about that one.
Right over the golf course.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was his first day on the deck, right? Just showed up. Yeah, guys, what's up, bro? It's going flying. It's like, I'll read the course rules when I get back.
It's not as bad as the COVID flag we did at Key West, where our first day, you and me, we're about to go flying, and they're like, you're all grounded. Like, why are we all grounded? Well, because somebody in first go, when you go into, have you ever been to Key West, Shanghai?
I've not.
NAS Key West. So NAS Key West, if you're landing to the north, you have to there's a strict procedure because you don't want to violate the class Delta of Key West International. And one of our, I mean, you're in a T-38A. I mean, it's not like there's a whole lot of SA, even though we had iPads. They cut the corner, flew through the airspace, got a tower to tower call. And then I think they did it again on the base to final turn because they went too far along. And then so that
put a
one,
stamp on it.
Yeah. Navy skipper shows up again and says, this time it was the skipper. He's like, you're all grounded. Nobody's flying for the rest of the day. And you're going to sit through 3 hours of academics on how not to fly through. And we sat through 3 hours of course rules on how not to fly and violate thing. And everybody caught COVID. That was everybody caught COVID. I didn't catch COVID. I had some other virus. It was unrelated.
Yeah, of course. You know what's funny, man, is after sitting through that brief and after actually flying, because I've flown that there a lot in the Navy in the Hornet, and then I did it in the 38, and I'm like, man, I don't know if the 38's capable of making this base turn without tagging the class Delta, dude. Because you know what I'm saying, the thin wing, and like we would fly at 200 knots, which makes your arc a lot. A lot bigger. So I was like,
it doesn't fly that speed. Yeah.
No, I was like, it didn't think this through.
That's the top speed of the A10. Shanghai doesn't know how to relate to these problems.
I did fly a T-38 back in the day. So yeah. That's and in the Navy, I think a difference between the Air Force and Navy is that the Air Force would have there would have been whispers of this having happened, right? It would have been 2 or 3 days. And then somebody would have called it. The Navy calls you on the carpet right now and read you the riot act, right? Is that right, Gonky?
But the difference is the Air Force would have FEB'd you and then given you an LOR and taken your wings.
Right, it would have gotten to be whispers, and it's a bigger and bigger thing, and then it's a national crime. And in the Navy, they just deal with it right now.
You're an idiot. Yeah,
call you
an idiot.
Shanghai, it's really hard to hide anything in Key West because it's an island. I don't want to say small. No. It's an island, and I mean,
it's a key. It's a key, Gonky.
It's a key.
Yeah.
Like literally anywhere, like when jets are recovering, like anywhere on the island there, you're like, oh, hey, the jets are coming back, you know?
Yeah, and it's flat. You can see.
Oh, dude, leaving that place, it was like the last flight out of Shanghai or Saigon, because I'm looking at Shanghai going, it's Shanghai. No, it's Saigon. I had the rental car and Gonky landed and he's like changing. And I'm like, dude, if you don't get in right now, I'm not stopping this car.
I'm leaving.
Because so many people had caught COVID that they had a plan.
Well, they went full retard. They went full retard.
Yeah. You can't say retard, Gonky.
They didn't Tropic
retard.
No, retard. But it's frowned upon now. So they had a plan for all these COVID infected. They were in vans of infections. So they had like, oh, you 3 are infected. Here's a driver. You 3 are infected. Here's a driver. You're all going to be in your little hazmat suits, and you're going to make the 19-hour drive from Key West to Eglin.
No, but Mover there, Shanghai, the kicker was, Mover, you forgot.
When
the
they got
last day we were there. So if you tested positive for the coronavirus, they locked you in your room in the Fly Navy Lodge. And the last day that Mover and I were there, we left early. The AC unit went out.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Imply
in the
Navy.
middle of June.
In the middle of June, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not gonna get the parts till next week." So that last night, I mean, it's getting hot. I'm like, dude, thank goodness we're out of here next day. But the poor dudes that were sick, locked in their rooms, they had to stay.
Well, when they got there to Eglin, they got locked in those rooms too.
Yes.
So they drive the 19 hours to get there, and then they get locked down at Eglin, and they're reservists.
Yeah,
they're like,
another COVID incubator. Yeah.
Yeah. I told Mover, like, as we were passing the Eglin X, I'm like, dude, just keep going, bro. It's like we're not checking in, nothing. Just keep going.
Yeah, we made it from Key West to Pensacola.
Yeah,
like that's it. We left at like noon and got there by midnight. Yeah, it was craziness. Yeah. We're off the rails here. Hey, Shanghai, when I was talking about the Legacy only flying 200 knots, was that fast to you?
No, it's not fast.
Hey, why you got to bully the air-to-air kill guy, huh?
No, that's true. I'm not worried. Hey, you know what I saw for sale in my travels while I was looking at stuff? An A4.
Really?
Yeah,
435,000.
Comes parts for that.
It's single seat. It's only got the one seat, so you can't take Rip Dog flying.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a scooter. Those are cool. I got a cool another A4 story real quick. So I'm at Red Flag as a forward air controller, as a first lieutenant, right? And so I'm briefing these A4 guys, Marines, and they were going out on the Red Flag ranges, and there's a lot of sensitive airspace out there. There's the nuke, sites where they store the nukes, and then there's the like trains where they're moving the nuke stuff, and then there's the box container, obviously. And so so these guys have like a 1 to 500,000 map, like that is mounted on cardboard, right? It's about like literally like this big, and I'm like, dudes, you need a little more map for these ranges, what we're doing out here. So, I'm a hard charging first lieutenant, right? I'll make you guys maps. I'll bring them out to the jet for you, before we start up. So because our takeoff times are about the same. So I show up with I got these cool maps. I've laminated them. I copied my maps. Got like 1 to 100,000, 1 to 50. I think it may be 1 to 50,000 even. I got them all folded real cool. And so this major happened, and he says, "Oh, just bring up the ladder. Bring up the ladder." And he looks at me and says, "Hey man, so where do I put these? Where do I put these effing maps and views?" Because literally he says, "I got to pull my shoulders in just to close the canopy. I mean, that thing is so small. The cockpit is tiny in that thing." He's like, "Yeah, so you where you can take those maps, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, sir." That's funny. So
that's why I'm not buying an A4.
I love to fly the A4, man. I'd love to fly it.
400,000, Gonky. No reasonable offers denied. It says it right on the website.
Which model of the A4? Because you want the Super Fox is what you want.
Argentinian.
Yeah, that they have the big motors. Argentinian A4s have the big motors.
Hold on, let me look.
They should.
Has it been sitting for like 10 years? It
has not flown since 2020.
Like Mitchell or Cletus McFarland's MD-500 was sitting for 10 years.
5 years.
You see that helicopter mover that Cletus has? Garrett's got that MD-500. It's a beautiful machine. It's a
1960.
Oh, look at that. Yeah,
no. The price is down to 430 something now.
That's an early one, dude. 1960. That is an early. That's probably a legit warbird.
That's a cool jet.
A4C.
That is a cool.
Completely restored and upgraded by Fighting Classics, is what it says.
John McCain on that airplane.
No, the one he flew is in pieces, man. Over.
It's got a Garmin.
More than one.
It's got,
yeah,
251 hours since major over. Yeah, Argentinian Navy markings is what it is. It was painted in 2020.
Okay.
So,
cool. I think you want an F5. You want an F5 2C.
That's
F5.
like $1.5 million though, dude. There's
really?
No way. Yeah, those things.
One
are
up in Tulsa. A guy up in Tulsa's got an F5 in a T-38 also.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh, it is $495. What was $435? I must be looking. I looked at so many airplanes.
He's been getting a lot of calls, man. The price is going up.
I know. As soon as I mentioned it, through the roof.
Yeah.
Skid's here.
Hey, Skid.
Skid checking it.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we got a 2 ship of hogs. Look out.
That's right. 2 ship.
Colin says jets make noise. Who knew?
Yeah.
Well, not the people of Burlington, Vermont. I can tell you that.
Yeah, apparently not.
Dude, that's why they built.
Fat Amy does make an inordinate amount of noise, though. I mean, that is a one big,
So
big
the
motor.
F4. Nobody complained about that.
Yeah.
That's why they built
True.
Lemoore out in the middle of the desert. That's why Top Gun moved to Fallon. They just wanted to get away from people.
Yeah, that's how I live my life, actually.
What? Getting away
Get
from
away
people.
from people. All right, Doug. I know you were looking for this one. Fat Amy on the highway. Hit it.
Just for me.
Here's a close look. Go down. Can you play the video? Because that's all that really matters. They landed some Fat Amy's, some obese Amelias. There you go.
Oh, look at that.
They even put a GoPro. Why didn't they use this GoPro for the Fat Amy getting gunned?
It's facing the
they
wrong
wouldn't.
way.
Well, you wouldn't see the Eurofighter in the HUD, so you'd know he lost.
What?
You could see the sky that he's.
Correct. That's all you would see is the sky and a bunch of
As
buffet. Yes.
Yeah.
You're watching this whole approach. This is it.
Yes.
Play 10 times speed.
Nah, dude, he's almost there. We got it.
All right, fine. Look. There's the
Typhoon.
Eurofighter right there.
Yeah.
That's probably the one that kicked his ass earlier. Oh,
We just got to land on
he
the highway.
landed? This
That's
thing
pretty
sits
cool.
high.
Well,
Touch-
the
touch and
GoPro
go.
distorts things, Mover. You know this.
No, according to the comments, the GoPro makes things look closer than they are.
Hmm.
Hey, skip around to the end where they're taxiing around, because this is a touch and go. Right there. Right there. Right there. He's on the road taxiing. That
That's
would be
pretty
cool.
That would be cool.
We did it in Korea.
Did you really?
Shanghai, you taxi
Oh,
on
yeah.
the roads?
Oh yeah,
landed
yeah.
on
We had
the road?
in Korea they had areas set up for this in case our runways were bombed. So yeah, we had arming areas whole bit on the highway.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
he's taking off. Let's watch the takeoff.
And the Michigan guys
Yes,
and the E10s have done this recently as well.
Yeah, they've done it on like lake beds and stuff too, haven't they?
Yeah, they did. Well, they did it on the desert out there, and some of the guys
Yeah.
I think might have been the boys from up north there, but Michigan guys do it on highways all the time.
That's pretty cool, man.
It would be
Oh,
tough to
okay, so-
VID your landing area without the diamond.
Yeah.
I mean, to
Yeah.
find it,
We just look out the cockpit, and
There you go. Here's where they're.
stuff like that.
This is what I was talking about. You got the rental cars. That's the standard one each government rental van.
Yeah.
The van, yep.
Giffy,
truck.
that's Gonky's minivan.
You know, with
Fuel
all the
truck.
kids. Yeah, fuel truck's ready.
Yeah, because Fat Amy doesn't carry much gas.
It
No
does- it
lightning,
carries
no
like
lightning,
20
no lightning within 25. Good to go.
Nah, it carries like 20,000 pounds. That thing's a fuel. It's like a tanker.
That's
That's
why
true,
it looks.
it's the A model.
Oh.
It can fly
have one.
forever. I don't want to fly a jet that can last that long.
This is not in the United States of America.
No.
What you looking for, Douglas?
Just browsing.
Shanghai, when you did your highway op, I mean, clearly the road has to be built to a higher standard to withstand the weight. So were there certain sections of road that they told
Yes.
you like, hey, this is you go past this, you're gonna hit the soft stuff and sink through the
Yeah,
asphalt.
there were markings on there. There was over
Okay.
there's arming area turnouts the whole bit. Yeah, set up for
Okay.
that. In fact, if you're doing a PAR into Suwon, when you broke out, you just need to look to the left because they're probably lining you up on the highway instead of the runway at Suwon. But yeah, and the highway's actually easier to see because
runway.
the runways were camouflaged and the highway was not, so it's easier to see the highway anyway.
How long? Like how much
Yeah.
highway did they give you? How
I don't
many
really
feet?
recall,
How many
Mover. I
miles?
have to look that up. But I mean, it was plenty, but E10 doesn't need a lot. But it was, it was obviously pre-planned. I mean, there was sections of the highway that had markings on them, and so like the approach end markings, and then you have a turnout area, and, another area for like arming, last chance. So yeah, there's a whole plan for that.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Good job. That's pretty cool.
Fun.
I never landed on a highway. Gonky, did you ever land on a highway?
No, sir. I have not. I think it'd be cool, but no. No, not
Yeah.
a Hornet.
Okay. Have you landed on a highway in something else?
No, I've done quite a bit of general aviation flying, and I'm trying to think that I've ever landed on a road.
It's non-standard to do that, so
Yeah, no, a lot of grass strips. No,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't even done it with a helicopter.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, there's been no. I've landed in.
What about the church?
parking- That was a field. Yeah, we just landed in their front yard.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
With a helicopter, weight would never be an issue, right, on the road if you had to land on the road?
Not for the road, but your weight of the helicopter is, because you got to have your enough power available to get out, and get in. I was talking to, now we're talking helicopters, but I was talking to like the life flight guys. I mentioned this last week with Bruce. They would get into places where once they added the patient,
Yeah,
they would have to take off and like hover to burn off fuel. And it was funny. He's like, we would just set the power, and as it burned off fuel, it would start climbing. And that was their
Wow. No
way out.
kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, with a 200-pound patient or something, you full tank of gas.
That was an awesome episode, by the way, Mover, with Bruce. Bruce, what a gentleman and a
Bruce is a
professional.
great guy. Yeah.
Wow. Great guest. Great episode. I really enjoyed it. And having to make that tough decision about, not taking a dog and not taking a briefcase and stuff. It just really tells you about,
I'd take the dog.
things that could
I don't
happen.
care. We'd all die. I'd take the dog.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
leave the
I was
humans
thinking
and
that-
take the dog.
I was thinking that as he was talking about that, I was thinking movers choose differently there, but what a great guest and great experience, professional gentleman. Awesome. Enjoyed it.
Hey, what's this, Gonky? 77th anniversary of Mach 1? That's a new one.
Here. Yeah, put it up there, man. I saw this. We need to talk about this as fighter pilots, man. This is important, but I don't want to get us. I don't want to get
Charles.
Yes, I don't want to get us.
Yay.
I don't want to get us
Grr.
demonetized, man. But here it is. So, yeah. So today, I actually saw it in the chat. I can't remember who put it in there. Thank you, but all three of us here have gone faster than sound, and it's kind of cool to be able to say that. But yeah, 77 years ago today, October 14th, I can't do public math. 1947, is that right? Charles Yeager in the X1 broke.
I don't think
the
it was
speed of
Chuck.
sound.
I don't think that was the part that got you demonetized.
Really? Oh, did I? Wah, wah. Well, the famous pilot, as it says there,
Charles Edward Fromage.
Correct. Took the speed of sound in the Bell X1. And I don't know about you guys, but when I was I was a freshman in high school when I first read his book, which is titled after his last name. I read it like 2 or 3 times, and it breaks down the entire early days of the test pilot stuff, like right after the war, right? Speed was king, and they're like, man, well, the X1, they made it like a 50 cal bullet because they thought this, 50 cal goes faster than the speed of sound, and they thought it was a wall. If you hit it, it would break. And just the entire story is incredible. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the day he broke the sound barrier, he had fallen off his was his motorcycle, Shanghai, or horse the night?
Horse.
Yeah. Broke his ribs, so he couldn't close the door. So he had his engineer buddy cut off a broom handle, and just all kinds of like cowboy stuff that like
It's
as
in the movie, The Right
Is
Stuff.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it happened. He tells it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen The Right Stuff. I need to watch again.
Oh,
But I mean,
it's amazing.
his whole life. I mean, that book talks about his his World War II experience in the Mustang, and then, like I said, breaking the sound barrier, and then the stories that came after breaking the sound barrier are just as epic. You know, Mach 2 came pretty quickly, and then all the Korean stuff. So he led an amazing life, and
high school
my
education
hats.
went on to become commandant of the test pilot school. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing. So in the book, it talks about, he did all these things. He broke the sound barrier. He's an ace in World War II, all these things. And then they gave him such a hard time. During peacetime, of course, they gave him such a hard time. It's like, well, you don't have your college degree, so you really can't be a test pilot. And it's like, dude, I'm like the best test pilot you have here. I don't need to go to have a college degree for this. But anyways, fantastic book, fantastic pilot, aviator. I mean, I need to read it again. But thanks to him.
He was a guy that was blessed with some natural talent. He had 20/10 vision.
Yeah, he did.
Same as me. And that helped a lot. So, and he'd hunted a lot growing up.
Yes.
So he understood, understood lead and that kind of stuff. And he had tremendous vision. But he understood systems. He was a guy that was mechanically inclined. He understood the aircraft systems so well. And you put all that together, and it was just a, tremendously capable fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Who had some great opportunities and took advantage of them.
Yeah.
Great American story. For sure.
Yeah, it is. I just thought, hey man, it's the 77th anniversary of mankind breaking the speed of sound. And that's, I loved, not in the 38, but I always got a kick out of going supersonic, and just to say I did it.
You remember the last time you went supersonic, Gonky?
Yeah, it was in the T-38.
Oh, like the exact time, the last time you did it?
No, not the exact date. It was on an incentive flight, which is the only time I would risk my life. So.
Dude, in the Hornet, I used to, because we did a lot of 1v0s, I used to go supersonic every single flight, because I just to say I did. I went supersonic today.
Just super cruise, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I accidentally did that also on a cross country, because I didn't know. Nobody told me if you just park it in mill at 25,000 feet, she'll super cruise right over Austin.
I did not know.
Or anywhere in the United States. But I did. I remember my last one was Tanks Finney Flight.
Oh, okay.
It was actually one of the only times I went supersonic in the T-38A, because there was no reason to usually as Red Air, because you were saving fuel.
Yeah.
Twice
in the 38. Yep. It's okay.
The one time that I was authorized to do it in pilot training, and the second time, the only ride I busted at Holloman in the lift was fighting air to air against a kid who was going to the F-15, and we were doing rolling scissors and full burner straight downhill over the white sands. We both went through the mock, not even hearing our instructor pilots yelling at us, to watch our airspeed and putting the boards out, then taking the jet. And we both busted the ride for that. So that was my second time. And the interesting thing is, I told this on Mover's channel the first time you interviewed me, is that exact airplane is sitting right out here in Midwest City, Oklahoma, right across from the main gate at Tinker Air Force Base, in a little park next to a gazebo. The exact one that I was flying the day that I busted the mock over the white sands, and busted the only ride I busted at Holloman. That's a cool story, awesome. Though, so it's worth it.
Gonky, do you remember the first time you went supersonic?
It was just Gonky,
yeah, I do actually.
Did you guys not do it in pilot training? Like, wasn't a thing?
No, because the Goshawk.
You had the boom and zoom ride, didn't you, back then? That was
we did at least a Shepherd. We did for sure. Yeah, it was a ride where we got to do an unrestricted climb, and then go supersonic. So we got a little.
Gonky.
I just saw the other day my little certificate, Mock Busters Club.
Yep. Correct this man or woman.
Well, John, I don't know what to tell you. I can sit here all day till I'm blue in the face and tell you that it will go over Mach 1 in military power with centerline tank, 2 pylons, and wingtip missiles.
I didn't have any of that. I just had the centerline tank.
Yeah. It'll do it, man. I mean, it's not Raptor Super Cruise, but I mean, it's the definition of Super Cruise is non-afterburner over Mach 1 and
Level flight.
Level flight. I mean, dude, the F-16 will do it, right? If it's clean. Yeah. I mean,
30s, well.
Yeah. I mean, it's not.
I know that.
I mean, if you put if you show up like Hangman did there when he saved Maverick with that loadout,
the war. We call that loadout the whole war.
The whole war. Yeah, he is hanging under his wings. You might get 0.7 Mach out of it in military, but yeah, it's when it's in its air-to-air configuration, the Legacy Hornet is actually relatively fast, but because the intakes and the rest of the design is optimized really for subsonic, like once you cross the number, the drag becomes so great that like it doesn't go much faster.
Yeah, the F-16 Block 30 big mouth, you had to be in the 30s because of the big intake. It's a lot of drag out there, but it's also a lot of horsepower.
Oh yeah.
You're putting a lot of air through that thing, which is giving you a lot of thrusties. So much like Shanghai, my first, well, you did a boom and zoom ride, so that was your second, but my first supersonic adventure was entirely by accident because we were not supposed to ever go supersonic in the pilot training. That was not part of the syllabus. And I was solo doing, I'd gone up, I'd done the, okay, it was like one of my first or second solos. And I'm just like, okay, what do you do? Cause you do a couple cool things and you're like, okay, well, it's border patrol now. I don't know, I'm bored because you got to go stay up there for an hour. And I get to the top of the airspace and I'm like, okay, woo, afterburner, aileron roll. And I did two of them and you're not supposed to do continuous aileron rolls. And next thing I know, I'm like nose down, 14,000 feet, 1.01. And I'm like, oh God, no, afterburner. Nothing ever happened of it. We're out in the middle of the MOA and just nothing,
Yeah,
that was my first.
What I'll ask.
Nice, sweet.
I'll ask you guys. What was for me like when I first busted the number? I didn't realize I'd done it. But when I went out in Key West the second time I did it on purpose. And what surprised me the most was when I pulled the Hornet out of burner.
Oh, and it used to get the
dude, and when it transitioned from supersonic flight to subsonic, like like I slammed on the brakes. I mean, it threw me forward. I was like
transonic.
Yeah,
that was a demo. That was a demo in one of the jets I flew where they would do the. In fact, that might have been the T-38 because you'd get transonic, you get up in that upper number, not supersonic, and then you throw it to idle boards, and you just all the drag would slow down immensely. Yeah, but then it accelerates. It exponentially accelerates through that too once it starts going.
Yeah, it's weird that whole
science.
Yeah, going
science is
really anticlimactic, right? Remember, I mean, it was kind of anticlimactic going supersonic, but as you said, coming out is more pronounced.
Yeah, even in the 38, when you come out of burner and slow down below, like it would throw you. It'd throw you forward in the straps.
Yeah, I used to demo that on incentive rides because that was part of the profile was, and Homestead, because incentive rides were dedicated rides for the whoever won whatever award we were doing. We'd unrestricted climb, someone would get sick, we'd descend down, we'd fly a low level, we'd get back up to the MOA, Whiskey 174, and then we'd go supersonic. And that would be hey, cool. And they're like, really? That's it? I'm like, watch this, and rip it to idle, and throw the boards out. And they're like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, all right, now we've burned off enough gas. Let's pull 9Ks. Yeah.
Dude, so the first time I broke the number, it was on 9K set when I was a student.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, speed is life. I heard that somewhere. Like, dude, like as we're doing the countdown, man, dude, I'm just whipping the ponies and I had no clue. Of course, I arced like a big dog and we get back in the debrief. I queues up the tapes, dude. And you could I think like 440 was the speed I was supposed to be doing, but like I blow past, I'm in the 500s and the airspeed. And he's like, wow, dude, you are hauling the chili here. And I hit
You
like
know,
no, because I just smoothly pulled it to the it held the G limiter for quite a ways around there because I was going so fast. But he's like, and that's that's why my BFM was poor, because I arced like a big dog and didn't end up too well for me. So
that is how I
Way
overdid
past
an
corner
F16.
west.
Like 100%.
I didn't know you could do that.
You can, and I did.
Oh.
Coming back from Iraq, because Iraq, what's the standard configuration? 2 bombs, tanks, targeting pod, AIM-120s. You had all the hangman loadout. So we were doing. It was like one of the last sets. We were over Avon Park, which you're not supposed to go supersonic over. Allegedly, for legal reasons. This is a joke. And it was like the last set. And you know how fighter pilots, dude, this is what we do, right? The flight lead goes, next set will be, and you're like, you could look inside and go, 2's not ready, right? That's one of your options, standby, whatever. Or you can go, you know what? I'm a good wingman. I'm going to make this work.
Oh,
so I was like, I was slow because we just finished a fight. I was like at 280 knots, 260 knots, and you want to be in the 400s. So I was like, I'll fix it on the checkaway. Light the blower, forget about it. Because the internal clock is thinking, just like I've just spent, 2 months in the desert, with 2 bags and bombs and all that stuff. Right. I check away, I turn in, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm a smart wingman here. I'm going to kick his ass. I'm slow. I'm not even looking at my airspeed. I'm like, I feel it. I feel that I'm slow because I know I should have been slow based on the timing and everything. I'm going to take him 1 circle. So I set up this fight and I forced the 1 circle going Mach 1.2. Is how fast I hit that merge.
Oh man.
I pulled as hard as I'm just like, okay, here we go. And I'm like, the lights are going out. Like it's going from here to here. And I'm like, why is this so bad? And I'm I let off and I hear, kill Viper right hand turn, guns track, and I'm like, all right, knock it off. And I look at the G meter and it's pegged at, the last high 9.8. And I'm like, ooh, so probably gonna have to knock it off here.
Yeah.
And because my flight lead's like, dude, I just got the shit out of you.
What happened? You just turned in front of me.
Yeah. You had like a 4-mile turn radius. Well, you see what had happened was, but luckily we came back and maintenance was kind of, we counted frames and it needed 15 frames, but it was like 14 frames at 9.8. So they're like, it's not an over G. You don't owe us anything. We're not pulling panels.
You didn't check rivets all evening and buy beer.
Yeah, no, because they're like, it's just not.
So wait,
not exactly.
Mover, you couldn't check the codes in the airplane in the F-16.
We don't have codes. There's no codes.
Really?
It doesn't give you an over G code. No.
Oh, can't you just press the little button? Didn't you have a little thing you could press?
I could reset it, but on my HUD tape it said 9.8. Affixed there. Exactly. So there's that whole integrity, service before self-excellence, and all we do, all that stuff we talk about. But
Mover, would the jet record it, and when maintenance downloaded the data, would they know? Really? Oh wow, yeah, you couldn't hide anything in the Hornet. That thing would tell on you.
No, well, it could. So the data was there, but it wouldn't flag. So,
okay.
I mean,
so unless they were looking for it,
right? Like the data existed, but I don't think there was anything that would flag because we were in an analog flickus, right? Analog flight control, which I had a dude in the comments argue with me. He's like, "You don't know what you're talking about. It's not analog. It's digital. It sends a digital signal." And I'm like, I only flew them for 1,000 hours. I guess I never passed the test.
You gotta love
it. But it's an analog, which you could overshoot limiters and stuff because there wasn't. It did not. If you were over the Mach or transonic, it could overshoot. It could just go right through
digital, and it'll overshoot too, just like you said. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
But yeah, I remember that. I'll never forget that. But luckily, the good thing was I had set my neck, other than the fact that the lights were going out.
I don't know how
I didn't hurt anything. Just watching the world go dark, but didn't G-lock. So thankfully, remember my training.
Yeah,
Push
my
harder.
supersonic days are probably over. Bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those days are well behind us, Gonky.
Yeah. 0.8 is about as close as 0.81. I can maybe squeak out.
The Lancer Legacy pulls 4.4 Gs. So if we went that route, or the Turbine Legends at 6. So none of these GA aircraft that I was looking at pulled more than 6.
Yeah. Dude, I'm I'm okay with not a lot of
Not looking
Gs.
at any extra 450s, huh?
No, thank you. AMT says BD5J 400-pound thrust engine reworked APU.
That's in the
Yeah. That's this little tiny little jet. Those are cool.
really?
Yeah, it's a tiny little jet with an
For what
APU for an
purpose?
engine.
Is it the
Going
microjet?
fast. Yeah, it's like a microjet going fast. Yeah, BD. Look up BD5J. Cool.
I had a buddy in
God.
college.
Oh, it's actually in A4.
Is it like is it experimental?
It's the
I think
world's
so.
smallest
I think
jet.
they are. There you go. Boom.
Yeah,
Right
dude.
there.
So
Dude.
so a guy named Justin Lewis, who was he was a Navy pilot, then an Air Force pilot. He flew those on the air show circuit for a long time.
Dude,
Yeah.
that thing is radio controlled. You
No.
could not pay me enough.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't give me one. Like I would
Yeah.
be like, no, Luno couldn't fit in that thing.
Right. It's tiny.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. No, thank you.
It definitely is one. It's a single seater, man.
Oh yeah. Smaller than A4.
Justin says, does Gonky fly into St. Louis? Could have sworn I heard him on the approach freak the other day. Did he say dude? Oh, dude, cleared the approach.
No, we don't go.
Come
we don't
on,
go to
man.
big airports.
Well, that's a St. Louis approach. Is there a small airport around there? What is it with you and
Belleville.
size? Why is everything big or small?
No, I'm Asian. It's my nature. Come on.
Half big, half small.
I don't know, Mover. I don't know, man.
Nathan got Wombat on ATC flying in an LGA last week.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yep. Wombat saved a life the other day.
Really?
Really?
Well, somebody had a medical and he safely.
Oh, that's awesome, man. He didn't tell me
Wow.
that.
He's
too humble.
He's a great captain. Living
bet
his
he
best
is.
life now. Crazy Pete says, one night over Iraq in the Herc, ATC asked us what our Mach number was. We laughed on freak. No, the C-130 has no Mach meter. You have to do the ICE conversion.
Get out your whiz wheel.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
Whiz wheel.
that's like I was taking a jet to Depot from Homestead, and I'm over like, Remus Razi Redfin, Q100 or whatever over the Gulf. And they go, reef 1-1. Yeah, go ahead. Say ride. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm in a fighter. It's always a rough
Smooth.
ride. Like, what? I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say here?
It's always light chop.
The seatbelt light is on. I mean, what are my options here?
Mover, did you guys? So when you flew over the Gulf, like, did you go straight?
Mhm.
Straight over the
Q100.
Yeah, I know. I've flown Q100 before. Slick. Did you take it slick
I have usually 2-bag though.
over the
Travel
Gulf?
pod.
Yeah,
Travel
Yeah.
pod.
Wow.
two bags and if you were lucky, you had a travel pod. Yeah, I've taken it centerline bag and I've taken a 2-bag.
Wow.
Why?
Because we used to go from Ellington direct Key West over the Gulf, and it was a bit of a stretch.
Really? I used to
Yeah.
do Miami to Dallas and have
That's-
fuel for
That's not the
reserve.
same.
It's farther.
Yeah,
Yeah.
further than Ellington. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, because if we couldn't make it, we would hug the shoreline and I forget land.
Yeah, it was never an issue. I mean, I'm surprised. Huh,
Yeah, because we
interesting.
bury them.
Yeah,
We go
I
up
used
into
to do
like
the
we go up to like 40,000. Jet did not.
No,
like
dude.
there.
This 280, man. We were 27 or 2. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
that's
they would give us non-RVSM, but I mean, we'd file 280, 270.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
wouldn't want to be in the Masconosphere for sure. I
Oh.
did
We didn't-
0.99 across the Gulf one time because I was trying to get home because we were late. you know, and they're like, the soft is like, you need to get here. I got to go home. Why are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And center's like, brief one once they indicate a Bach number. 0.99. Because I didn't know if that was illegal. Like, I'm just a dumb lieutenant, and I'm like, if I go over the Mach, is that illegal here?
Over the water, you're good.
Yeah, it was fine. Liam says, I had another question for the guests. Were there times the gauges were fluctuating in flight and you did not have to make a note for maintenance? All the time. All the time. You have to tell maintenance all kind of stuff.
Hey, it's out of limits. It's probably parallax. Let's look at it from this. There we go.
Or the gauge, like in the case of the T-38, just doesn't work.
True. Valid.
Had gauges fail completely because of DC, you know, some kind of, you know, like
usually the ADI.
I'm talking engine instruments. I've had engine instruments just straight up fail, but you're right. ADI would be worse than failed because it would not show failed and start spinning or tilting.
Yeah.
Just a tilt. The tilt was the one that would get me. Spinning, I could ignore it, but the tilt, you know, where it would just crank off, so to speak, 15 degrees.
Yeah, I was joking about pushing the button to reset the G meter. We always told maintenance anything that went wrong with the jet and let them decide, you know, whether it was, you know, flyable for the next sortie or what they needed to do. You don't want to send somebody out with a, you know, system.
No, you fess up.
Shanghai, you got the A10s you flew. They're all analog, right? All steam gauge.
Yes. Yeah. Towards the end of my time in the A10, we got a lead computing gun sight and that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, we had no fancy displays or any of that kind of stuff. It's all
look outside.
Yeah. Clocks map crown, man.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Literally.
Aaron says, I'm pretty sure all GA normal category aircraft are certified 4.4 to -2 or 2.2. Yes, that's correct. Wombat is a great dude. Yeah, that's you're right. And that's what I'm saying. They were normal category.
What's utility? Is that a utility is a category, isn't it?
3.8, right?
Is it?
Utility is 3.8 and normal is 4.4.
Yeah.
And then there's something at 6 and there's something unlimited. Maybe not. I don't know, dude. Whatever. Somebody asked me like in the comments, like you get the weird, I posted a video of me flying the OH-58 and they're like, is that a restricted category aircraft? And I'm like, what?
Are you the FAA?
Yeah. Like who wants to know? Yeah. Can't you just say great video mover, love the editing, good music choices, you know, good job with those camera angles. Like why do we have to get into like it's a private pilot, you know, oral exam? I don't know.
Well, was it Premier One driver that somebody put in the comments like, hey, you switched to tower a little early there, and the FAA called him, and I mean, it's like, come on, people. It's like,
yeah. Well, and that's actually correct. Zippers Forever. It's public use. Like if you Google the tail number of the helicopter, it will say government because your rules do not apply here, sir. Now, having to keep the public status is another thing. You know, you want to make sure you're within the limitation. Like nobody's doing anything. There's no intentional non-compliance happening anywhere, but people tend to look at it. And I find, and this is what frustrates me, is I find that the comment section for a general aviation video can be as toxic, if not more toxic than a DCS video or something. Like the know-it-all itis that people seem to get when they see, you know, especially what drives me nuts is the flight instructors, you know, that like the YouTube commenter flight instructors, you know, they're like, well, you know, you sure did spend a whole lot of time here in that avoid area of the chart. And it's like, first of all, are you referencing the chart? And second, do you have the right one? And third, what? You know, what do you like? Wait, what? Why?
Yeah.
You don't even, you have no display of my airspeed. You have no display of my descent rate. You have no display of any of the data. You're just looking at a YouTube video from a fisheye lens and going, well, well, hey.
Right.
You apparently have nothing better to do with your time.
Correct. Yeah, exactly, Shanghai. It's like,
I mean, I love comments. Just say, nice video mover. See you later.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next one.
Just be nice.
Just be nice. It's free. It costs nothing, really.
If you don't like it, just change to another. There's another YouTube channel. out there.
Speaking of
that you
YouTube
enjoy.
channel, Shanghai, what's going on with yours? What's the deal?
Yeah, it's a lot harder than people think.
Oh yeah. Tell us.
It's a lot of
We
work.
make it look easy, but it's really not.
You do. It's much easier being a guest. Because you're accountable for yeah. Yeah. That I have no excuse, sir.
I mean, will there be more videos? Like, what's the plan here?
There will. In fact, I was working on one earlier today. I didn't get finished, but it's called "I'm Not Dead Yet," and it's what you guys were talking about. That I get a missing man formation at my funeral.
You do.
I didn't know that. I learned that
You do.
channel.
Yeah, T-Bear has let me know this many times. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were asking
So
about
I'm
that
not-
about the drone girl lady.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not dead yet, but I will look forward to that.
So
yeah, it's a lot more difficult than people think, and I'm not really there technology wise yet. It's even more work making that stuff, and also this, not an excuse, but it's a reason. I've been doing a lot more work with the Phoenix House lately than I'd anticipated. I sort of transitioned away from doing a whole bunch there, just because I needed to focus on some other things. The book got delayed or is delayed because I'm now going to have to go through the whole government approval process through publishers. I'm not going to be able to self-publish it, and so.
Wait, back up. You can go through the government approval process without with self-publishing. You don't have to have a publisher to do that. We can talk offline if you need to.
My point was I was not going to go through the government approval process whatsoever because I know that what I'm writing has nothing.
Right, but you can. They're not related. You can publish the book, get the approval from the government, and not go through a publisher to do that. Is what I'm saying.
Right, but my point is that I'm going to have to go through a publisher, and they're going to require. I'm quite certain that the government approval process be followed.
Tracking.
Therefore, we're talking what, 6 months to a year?
No, it's not that long. My last book didn't take that long. No, they're pretty fast about it. Mine was sci-fi, and they came back and they're like, one word. They had me change one word. It's a 90-something thousand word book, and they had me change one word.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
To justify their existence or something. I'm just not sure, but right here at Two Bigs Full Shanghai. That's my YouTube channel. So on Venmo or Chime or Cash App, it's just Two Bigs Full. If you want to make a donation to the Phoenix House, I'm going to make that plug, a shameful plug right there, because we've got to remodel the physical plant there. We have our big annual VA inspection coming up on the 22nd. We're ready for that. But it's a 100-year-old house, and it's got a really old physical plant. Like literally, we haven't been able to service the air conditioners. There's 4 of them in, whenever that was that you couldn't use Freon anymore, are still require Freon.
They're changing it again in January.
They are. Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are. This looks like this new fiscal year that we're in now. We'll be able to get some grant money through the community development block grant program, but we're actually I'm organizing right now a pork sandwich fundraiser at the Lowe's. So people will hopefully they can scan QR codes for stuff that they'll buy for us for materials, so we can do some remodeling at that place. It's just getting old, and so I'll make that pitch. But and we actually had a bout with COVID where we had a couple residents and then a couple staff members get the COVID. So they quarantined, and so I've been doing some adult supervision there. And then unfortunately, our director's mother was just put on this sort of end of life hospice program just a couple days ago. So she's going through that. So I'm helping out quite a bit more there as well. So it's good work, obviously, with the homeless veterans here in Oklahoma City. But it takes a lot of time, and this the YouTube thing is a thing. It's a busy job. So I'm not very good at it yet.
Uphill struggle.
Yes.
Yeah, better at guesting. It takes a lot of planning it's fun, but it's a lot of work. So thanks for asking. Though.
Yeah.
We'll be
Unless you're
back.
Gonky. You just show up and look pretty.
Oh, dude, come on.
And I've got a face for radio. There is that. So yeah.
Yeah. Without Gonky, this wouldn't be possible. We'd have no female subscribers.
The two.
Yeah. We'd have 0. Negative. We have a negative number. Yeah, well, that's great. Sorry, are you in Phoenix? Or is it just called the Phoenix House?
It's called the Phoenix House. I'm in Oklahoma City.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were in the Oklahoma
The
City.
Phoenix House, like Phoenix always rises, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, X-Men. Did we already talk about that? We sure did.
Yep.
Zippers Forever says, you forgot to compliment my dog. She's pouting. I don't know where my dog is. Yeah. It's like a pretty dog. And I like it. Rika, right? That's her name, right? Wasn't her name?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. For all that is good, what was the word you had to change? I had to change. Am I allowed to say it? Like, are we going to get doxxed for that?
This is where the black Suburbans roll up.
It was referencing a SEAL team. They didn't like that. They wanted me to be less specific. And I'm like,
oh, you used a numerical reference to a SEAL team.
Yeah, there's a whole TV show about it.
Right.
No. They're like, no, you can't use that. I was like, okay, well. It was like one word to delete. Okay, cool. Perfect. Next. Yeah, that was easy. I was like, thank you so much.
That's probably the most efficient government like work exchange.
Well, the best part is they had to actually sit there and read my sci-fi novel. And I love that I made them read my sci-fi novel. You know?
Like, hey, can I get some feedback?
Yeah. I'm like, all right, enough of that. What'd you think? You know, did you like it? You know,
give me a review on Amazon when it comes out.
Yeah.
4
5
5 stars.
Yeah.
Would you read the second one? You're gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
It was surprising. Well, it was surprising to me because it had a lot of like the opening scene, which actually one of my beta readers was like, there's too much here. But I'm like, nope, keeping it. The opening scene was an F-16, like 2v2, you know, and I like, it was like full in depth, like from the brief to the step desk, to the startup, to the check-ins, to the taxi, you know, all that stuff.
Like a 40,000 page book.
Just for that one chapter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a WIC level debrief for just that one chapter. I open big and then it's like a 2-chapter book.
Right.
But
my book's like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But so like I for sure thought they're going to be like, you know, and nothing, not even a little bit. So I was happy about that. I guess I'm good.
Well, that's good to know because my book is an in-depth, like in the cockpit, you know, like firsthand account of combat in the E10. And, but you know, the thing is too, is that I'm a kind of a perfectionist and you want to get it right. And the more I get into it, the more I remember stuff. And then I go back and look at my, you know, I've still got lineup cards and maps and all that stuff. So it's hard to know when to quit. You know, kind of a little bit on writing something like that. You know, I just keep sort of re-editing and just trying to make it better. And there's a point where I just need to go, it's awesome, ship it, you know. So
I'm afraid to read any of my books again. Because like I'm afraid I might be like, oh, okay, why did I? So I don't.
That's natural, dude.
I don't read any of my old stuff. Like I remember Shanghai, the first time I wrote my book, my first book, right? The only cool thing, and you may have already done this, but one thing you'll find is probably the first time you read it, like it's actually bound together and you're like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read this as a book. You read this and not in an editing mindset, just as I want to make sure that this reads like a book.
Right.
You start getting lost in it and you're like, holy crap, I wrote a book. You know, this reads like a book. This is not like something, you know, it's not like see Gonky run Gonky run. You know, it is like, it reads like a book. And I think you'll surprise yourself the first time you read it and kind of take that writer hat off and just put your reader hat on.
Yeah, I really kind of did that. That's a good comment. I did that. I read had a little segment on my channel called Shanghai Storytime. And so I was just reading some segments of the book. And this was the part that I wrote like 30 years ago, 35 years ago, whatever. And I haven't really revisited in many years. And I was reading it and I really got a little emotional on, right there on camera reading it, because it was, it's just really brought back a lot of emotional memories. And so I thought, well, this is, and people responded well to it. So there's just, maybe you can help me with this, but it's just a time. When is the time to say it's good enough, or it's stop tweaking it? I don't know. But,
so I did that on the first book because that's what you do. Also, I had the delusions of grandeur on the first one. Like, I'm going to write this book. I've written this book. Start buying the beach house. It's time to start. We're going to get the Corvette, the airplane, the beach house. Margot Robbie, because she wasn't, taken by then. All these things. It's time. Let's go have the meeting in New York with the publisher.
Clancy, move over. I'm here.
Yeah. Well, he's but I think that as I've progressed in the writing, I've kind of gotten into the set it and forget it. I don't read reviews anymore. Like I spend all my time on YouTube comments. So that's what you should do. You should write the book and then go put out a video on YouTube and spend your entire time arguing with your commenters and forget about the book. Use that.
There's a little bit of a difference, though. I mean, there may be a little bit of a difference. Is that if I were writing a fiction book or whatever, this is the only memoir you get.
Yeah.
I mean, the only,
not true. I don't buy
you
that.
get one chance at writing the combat memoir. And so that sticks with me kind of.
No, because you've created, this is in your mind. You've created a reality in your mind. You don't get one because let's say you write one and you're like, okay, cool. Well, then I've got all these other stories. Well, guess what? I'm going to write another one. It's like what I keep telling Gonky. And Gonky's writing his, right? You're writing whatever you're going to call it, your memoir or whatever. And how many times, Gonky, have you been like, nobody's gonna want to read this?
Dude, as I'm writing it, I'm like, My wife's like,
are you writing your? I think people are going to read the hell out of it and enjoy it a lot. It's just, and you're right. It is in my mind that I need to get over it. That yes, it can always be better or more detailed or more factual. But it's just, I know that I've got it. That now my memory and my notes and things are coalesced enough that it's very accurate. And and so
No, I get Shanghai. I get it, man. You just want to get it right the first time.
It only has to be 10%.
And I know it is, but I just keep tweaking it, and I just need to finish it and get after it, get done with it. So I will.
If the more you tweak, the less likely it is to become a reality. That's just the way it is. I'm experiencing that. Yeah. You have to, I mean, even editing, there's a point where you're not going to find all the mistakes. That's just the way it is. Published books, you read a published book, you'll find a typo. Guaranteed. Sure. It's just not humanly possible. I mean, every now and then, you'll have a really good book that's well edited, but I mean, for the most part, even traditionally published big time authors have mistakes. And as readers, we tend to overlook them if the story is good. And I think if you focus on that, the meat of the mission, I don't think you're going to have a problem. I think the failure to launch.
I think you're right. I mean, I know you're right. Yeah, I know you're right. And you're absolutely right. And I mean, in one respect, I'm glad that I've delayed myself, because I've come up with a better theme. There's a theme now that runs through it related to the title, Two Bags Full. And so I'm really pleased with that. And no, I mean, I'm pleased with the work. I just need to wrap it up for sure. So
I have for the accountability. Well, I've interviewed you, Shanghai. You've been on the channel. As long as your audio is not as bad as that interview in the book, I think people will hear your story.
It's still like your number 3 all-time viewed.
That's what I'm saying. So even with bad audio, People loved your story, and they will read your story, and it's much
I'll
better
read
than
it.
the garbage that's you will not, Gonky. You'll listen to the audiobook.
I'll read it.
Gonky can't read.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
yeah, I'm just saying, give yourself that grace. Give yourself that acknowledgement that you were a combat veteran fighter pilot with a cool story to tell that's going to get a missing man formation, but not anytime soon because of the awesome things you did.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate that a lot.
I think as the
Means a lot
only
to me.
non-fighter pilot in the crowd, I think you guys underestimate how cool your stories are to the rest of us. One of the big regrets I have in life is I never forced my dad to write a book. He had 23 years of highway patrol stories. He didn't write them down. He's like, nobody wants to hear this. I want to hear it, and I've heard them all before. You guys just don't get how cool your stories are.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep. All right. From the crowd, Kirk Landrino, that's a Louisiana name. Best astrological thing you saw, Gemini. Seeing the comet now while flying would be awesome. Go Tigers. Yeah, go Tigers. That was a very gut-wrenching game. I'm glad they pulled that one out. To answer your question, the coolest thing I saw was not even mine. Remember that video with the T-45 with the eclipse?
Yeah, that was cool.
That was
Yeah,
pretty
that was
damn cool, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Coolest thing I ever saw was watching the SpaceX reentry while I was flying over Michigan one night.
Oh, in an airliner.
Yeah. Like everybody was talking. What is that? What is that? Everybody was talking on ATC, and the controls like, I don't see anything. And it was the reentry.
I remember two things. One was in pilot training at a night sortie up high and seeing a satellite going across, and not that crazy of a thing, but it was so cool at the time just to I've never seen something like that. And then the second thing would be I was flying out of Hunter Army Airfield down to Savannah for an exercise one time in A10, and I got to see a space shuttle launch from a distance, but I was down in North Florida, down the coast there, and got to see that. That was pretty cool as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Crazy Pete would like to know, have you guys read Red Storm Rising yet? If not, why not? I am not smart enough to read a book that long. Go with your data, Gonky.
Is it an audio? I might give it a shot if it's an audio book.
No, it's not.
I've not read it.
There you go.
Sorry, Pete.
Yeah. All right. You want
Carlo.
to talk mental health? I feel like we've been talking mental health, but you want to talk mental health? I finally figured out what this means.
What means?
Our mental health minute, life is a highway. So today's mental health minute, let's just be real for a second. Can we? Come on, man. Can we be real for a second?
Dude, we're real. The whole show is us being real.
I'm channeling my inner, never mind.
That's why shoddy.
But anyway, so I wrote this because we didn't have a mental health minute, and I just wrote Fat Amy on the highway, and then I was like, well, life is a highway. But I had no idea what it meant. And as I'm sitting here thinking, life is a highway, because sometimes the highway is completely wide open, life's going great, and you're just on cruise control and everything seems to be working out fine. And then the next minute, you're stuck in traffic and you don't know why. And you get to the end of traffic and you're like, why were we stuck here? There's nothing. There's no wreck. There's nothing, whatever. And then sometimes you're a part of that wreck. And then sometimes you're not. And on this highway of life, there are exits that you can take, big life decisions that sometimes will affect which way you go, which highway you take or whatever. But the important thing about it is that you keep moving. And even when you're stopped, you realize that eventually you're going to be moving again. And we've talked about this before about, keep moving forward and taking the bad times and realizing they're not going to last. Because I think, when you're going through something bad and you're stuck in traffic, going back to that analogy, you realize that, or you think that, well, this is never going to end. And then when you get through it, you're like, man, that was only 10 minutes. I can't believe, because it's a small part of your life. If you're having a bad month, well, a month in the big picture is nothing. It may seem bad, but it really is not what you thought it was, what is made out to be. It wasn't as big a deal. Kind of like you're talking about Shanghai, about your book. we create these scenarios in our head about, well, I'm never going to finish it because I'm going to keep working on this and I'm going to keep trying to edit it and I'm going to keep doing that. And then in 10 years, when you're looking back on the book that you wrote, you're going to be like, that was just a small part because I kept moving forward and published it and got good reviews and people loved it, got good feedback, wrote my second book. Even though I didn't think I could write a second book, I wrote a second book and here we are. I got out of the trap that I'd created in my own mind. So that's a lot of rambling to say, keep moving forward. And if you're helping somebody or talking to a friend or doing that, I think it's important that we help each other keep moving forward, whether that's with, encouragement, whether that's with distraction when things aren't going well, whether that's with just being a listener. We have to be that, passenger princess in life and help the person that's on that highway to be successful. And if you're somebody that's thinking about, hey, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do, reach out. There's mental health advisors out there, mental health counselors. You can always Military One Source, your chaplain. If you're in a squadron, if you're in the military, there's DPHs now that'll help you, or non-medical counseling options available. Even the FAA is now getting better on stuff like that. So, but don't suffer in silence. Talk to somebody, and please don't take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Get help. Call 911 if you're out to that point. Somebody's going to help you, and you will keep moving. I promise. Gonky.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I mean, a lot of good points. I guess my takeaway on life as a highway is you kind of talked about it, right? It's kind of a road trip. There's going to be some traffic jams. There's going to be some beautiful scenery. It's kind of, the ups and downs, if you will. And the older I get, the more that I can see that this is just kind of the natural way things go. I've said it before on the channel, I'm a Christian, and that really helps guide me on the highway of life. But, here, as Mover says, I'm off the grid. I'm up here in Ohio, and I just went to a wedding the other day of my cousin's boy, and I remember when he was born in 2002. So to me that's like yesterday, and all his siblings there, their friends, and they're all like taller than me now, like adults and stuff, and you start looking back, and I don't sound like an old person, but you looking back where you came from sometimes can give you some perspective of where you're going, because you can see how far you've come with the things that you've done in your life, and like even the little decisions that you make or the little exits you take off the highway that you're on can be life changing. So sometimes looking back on getting some reflection helps with where you're going. I know it does for me. I've had 3 weeks up here of it, but yeah, Mover, like you said, man, it's the highs and the lows, man. It's you just have to keep driving. You don't shut the car off and get out with the traffic jam. You stay in it. You keep trudging your way forward. You keep moving forward, because that's what I believe that's what God calls us to do. I don't want to ever roll over and give up. That's not what we're supposed to do. But other than that, Shanghai, what's your take on it, man?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, because this about 3 weeks ago, I had a significant birthday. Significant in the fact that I started putting another number in front of the other numbers. So I remember when that was a 5, and that seemed like really old. And now that it's a 6, it sounds super old. But I feel 40 or whatever. Feel like I have always. And so but it really caused me to reflect on life's path and the way things progress. And so I'm going to say, well, maybe about 2/3 of the way, maybe not quite 2/3 of the way, home. And but it's a really short time when you think about it. And but at the time, things seem like they're really dragging on, and they're long and they're arduous. But then, as Mover said, you look back and they're not that long. And I also think that reread recently again, Purpose Driven Life. Great book. I highly recommend it. And and when you look at this highway in terms of eternity, it's nothing. It's just absolutely nothing. But it's preparing us for something. We don't know what that is. We don't know what that's going to look like, or what, we can't comprehend it. We're not made to. And I think that one of the things that I really pull out of that book as a real nugget is that we don't always know the reason why things happen. They're happening for a purpose, but that purpose may not even be for us. It may be something that's beyond our comprehension. It may be something that somebody observes that we don't even realize. It may be something that we get a little bit of the why later on down the road, or we may never get the why, but we don't have to know why. And that to me, that really frees me up from the you get stuck on that highway and you just spin your wheels round and round thinking, why? And how do I get out of this? How do I get it? And if you just let it be, it's going to work out, and you're going to look back on it. It's maybe not even a blip on your radar. And so that's kind of helped me. And I think it's like, the other thing is just put one foot in front of the other, just keep moving. I may not, if I'm going to California from Oklahoma, I may not know exactly what roads I'm taking, but I know it's not east of here, it's west of here. So point in that direction and start moving. And, you'll find you'll end up maybe at a different place, but it'll be a good place.
Unless it's Airwolf. For whatever reason, they went west to go to Dallas from LA.
Well,
crashed a 747 under the water. Doug.
Gentlemen, that's a good analogy, Mover.
Thank you.
Or is it a metaphor?
I don't know.
You're the writer.
I think it's a metaphor. I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, cliches get that way because they're right so often, and there's so many people who have talked about life as a journey or a road. And the off ramp thing works really good. I guess for all I've got to add is that if you keep moving, all the traffic jams I've ever been in have ended up in my rearview mirror. So that's where I'm at now.
Plus, we're all going the same destination. It's what you do in between that matters. If you don't enjoy the ride, you miss out. Like most of the best part about a road trip is enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
I mean, Gonky, dude, Key West to Pensacola. What was the best part about that?
Oh, dude.
What do we remember?
The journey, dude. Yeah.
We remember Airwolf. Yeah, exactly. So, cool. Well, we got some comments from the audience as well. Zippers Forever says, everyone starts as a hitchhiker on the highway. Don't forget to pick up others once you have a car. Just don't pick up the wrong people lest you get shanked. Nathan Brand says, my highway is filled with potholes that the highway department won't fix. Nobody said it's a smooth highway.
Oh.
Just a highway.
Could be a dirt road sometimes.
Could be gravel. John says, they say life is a highway and we all travel our own roads, some good, some bad, yet each is a blessing of its own. Jess Chief Brenulson. Joe says, once again, my new favorite line, I'm 69. I know I look 27. And then Aaron says, Doug is my favorite online clinical psychologist. You take Health Alliance insurance.
For legal reasons, I am not a clinical psychologist.
I love it.
Yeah.
Don't you guys remember the story about almost getting in a bar fight about being a clinical psychologist?
Yeah.
I'm a research psychologist.
And then we got another comment that is kind of tough. Hey, by the way, y'all, this is from Voraxalon. My girlfriend's oldest boy, Milo, who is 15, has been fighting a brain tumor for 4 years. He used some prayer and account. His chemo hasn't been working this past 4 years. Yeah, it's so tough.
Oh, man.
I am sorry.
Yeah.
This is a horrible story to talk about since we're just talking about highways, but not cancer related, but last Tuesday, Luna and I got called out to dispatch because a dispatcher had taken a call of a motor vehicle accident, head-on collision, and she heard the Apple Watch go off. So, when Apple Watch goes off, there's a crash, it'll play the audio to the dispatcher, and she could hear the kid screaming in the background. And when they ran the plate, they realized that the mother, the driver, was the wife of one of the deputies that had just gotten off shift.
Oh,
And so in the span of an hour, he had gone from everything in his world was great to he lost his wife and had a 3-year-old that was in the hospital with broken collarbone because of a driver that crossed the center line and hit him head on, and they both died. And it reminds you of how precious life can be and how quickly things can change. I mean, this man went from having everything to I'm a single dad trying to make it through life in a, not a great paying job. I mean, let's be honest, a sheriff's deputy in Louisiana is not breaking in the big bucks, even with a working wife, it wasn't that easy for him. So I think it's stuff like that you kind of get the perspective of, dude, every moment that you have, you need to take advantage of, because you do not know when that life-changing event's going to happen tomorrow. So, we're not guaranteed any amount of time in life, and nor are the ones that we love.
Yep.
So just enjoy the ride, because you just never know.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, that's all the mental health I've got today. What else you guys got? I think we managed to make a full show here.
Your highway took you to Luna, and you took Luna to those folks. So that's good.
Yeah. She continues to be the best part of me. That's why I wanted an airplane, because I'm like, she's still young. She can enjoy it. We can go places.
You can go nationwide with Luna.
Yeah, I can take Luna nationwide. She loves flying. She just loves doing everything. So I don't know what we'll do. It's funny, Doug, you can vouch for this. Every decision I make is like, well, can Luna do this?
I can dig it.
That's great.
Yeah. Is Luna going to be a part of this? People are like,
I
why
asked
don't
you
you
that
like
before I
travel?
go on a trip with you now.
Yeah. Well, she's going. We're going racing. She's going. So when
I'm
she
only
hasn't
going if
shown
Luna
up,
goes.
what the hell? Luna. She's in bed. I guarantee you she's already in bed. She gave up on me. She's tired. All right, folks. Shanghai, as always, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Absolute
Thanks,
pleasure.
Shanghai.
Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it. Had a great time.
Hey, we can't go.
Yeah.
Shanghai, we can't go another year. I can't believe you said it was a year. We can't do another year
Was
without.
it a year?
Holy smoke.
Yeah.
You must have been one of the first.
Time flies. We're having fun.
It was like that must have been 55 or 56 weeks ago.
69. We're getting close to season 3, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoyed it, guys.
We're getting
Thanks.
close.
I really was excited when I saw your email this morning, Mover. So cool. Made my day.
Thank you for saying yes, as always.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right.
Always will say yes, for sure.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll see
Thank
you
you,
next
everybody,
week.
for joining us. We'll see you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Hey, folks.
Oh, hey, Casmo is next week, just in case y'all were wondering. Casmo will be here.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Good night.